Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Bright Side Home Theater Podcast. The home theater podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
Yeah. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess, right?
Well, true, yeah. Well, although one of us is watching a movie.
Yeah. So
In
still
fairness.
living up to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here in spirit, if not in body.
There you go. Yeah, we're here in body and spirit.
Hells yes. Talking about the spirit, for the record, and I'm loving the hat, Deej. I do have one as well, but it's just too hot. I'm not used to having a cover on my head.
Yeah.
And so wearing that is just far too hot. So I do have it. Too hot. Can't stand it. I will just sweat buckets. It's not good. So, I was willing, but just ain't going to do it.
You ain't got to do it. You just...
Too hot. Too hot with these as well. It's just,
Yeah. That's what's like the earbuds that I'm using now are really for stuff like this is really nice because now I don't have to have that on top. It's more comfortable. I get less of a, I don't even get a headache at all. I used to get a headache. Sometimes they would pinch if it was this, like if I had a hat on or something, but yeah, no, this is great.
I did try it and it just was like, oh God, it's too hot. So that was that. It literally lasted about 5 minutes and then that was it.
Yeah. No, that's all right. You've got the lights going in the background. You've got everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got, I mean, nothing's more festive than Evil Dead Rise should be a Christmas movie.
Hells yes.
Come on.
Hey, it should be.
Just because there's a lot of red in it, that does not make it. You can't go that far to say that's a Christmas movie. Yeah. You can try. So.
But I don't know about Home Alone is not a Christmas movie. I think that's more controversial than Evil Dead Rise should be.
Well, I think it is actually. That's obviously that's tongue in cheek to all of, and John's not the only one, but all of the people that think that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. If you say Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, then Home Alone definitely isn't a Christmas movie because they're pretty much the same thing. We do actually get into that. Tomorrow's show will be on streaming on YouTube. Already recorded. Me, Joe, and Greg. We recorded it Saturday. Our annual Die Hard Christmas special, and so there was actually we got at the end of the show. We get into a discussion that you and I will get into at the end of this show. But it's funny because in the middle of our discussion, we're like, "Wait a minute, this is all going to have already been answered." But it's not coming out until the day after. So yeah, that'll be fun. Nice little time jump for the listeners.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Greg says we are Die Hard
fans. Yes, there you go. Craig the Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun this year. It's fun every year, but I don't know. This year was particularly fun. Just sitting and what I will say here, and having done the show, this is, as I said in the show, it's the sixth time we've done the show. Greg's second. Joe and I have been doing it for 6 years, and I will say that Joe is loosening up. It's like Joe's, he's getting. I remember first sitting down with him, and like he never wanted to do it. It was like I was like pulling teeth trying to get him to sit down and record, and then as we got it going. I remember one year we sat there and his sarcasm came out. He was still uncomfortable, but he was just a little bit like, yeah, and it was just funny. He's getting older, but now he's older. He's an old man and he doesn't care. And he's just like, he's way more comfortable now. And it's great. And Greg's always comfortable here. Greg's like, yay. Yeah. Greg's like, I'll nerd out with everybody.
Yeah. Fair play to him. Good on him. Good on you, Greg. Yes. The sort of son-in-law you want.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so that's I still haven't posted it yet. I still have to, after this show, I'll post it. And we have you and I. You said it last week. I already put it in the Patreon chat. You're joining us after, right?
Yeah, might not be for very long because I'm
For long.
exhausted, but I'll
Yeah.
drop in. Yeah, of course, yeah, because I'd normally, I mean, and I may yet have to do court in the morning yet.
Oh, still? Oh,
So
wow.
just yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only for people that are overnight that have been arrested and kept in. There's no normal
Oh,
list tomorrow, but I may have to do that. So I don't want to be utterly exhausted. But I'll drop in for a few minutes. Yeah, of course, I'll drop in and say hi. I did say I would.
nice. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah,
So yeah,
immediately following this would be on over there. So,
hmm
on Patreon chat.
yeah.
So, how now have you been on call during the holidays and stuff
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No,
in
I'm
the
on call on
past?
Christmas Day as well this year.
Ah,
So yeah, just and I'm duty solicitor as well, which means that that means more work than normal. So yeah, yeah, it's been busy. I was on call all weekend. I'm not on call tonight. Not on call tomorrow, but covering court, and then Christmas Day on call, Boxing Day on court cover if needed, and
oh,
then I get the 27th on call.
oh,
And
jeez.
then 28th, 29th, I do then get a few days off. So hopefully a nice break. But yeah,
All right.
it never stops. Crime never sleeps, as they say, and neither do the people working to represent those that are alleged to have committed crime. So
Well,
busy, busy.
since we're at your schedule now, we might as well. I was going to wait till the end of the show. What's your schedule like next week? Because this is the
For
conversation
Monday.
for Monday, or we actually, Joe, Greg, and I actually broached the subject. What do you do for New Year's over there?
Well, the same as you guys do. Although I'm not on call on New Year's Eve, but
Oh,
of
okay.
course we're 5 hours ahead. So if I see it,
Right.
so we can, you could see it in with me because it's midnight then, but you
Right.
couldn't. But if I see it in with you guys, it is literally it'll be getting light.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I was like. What do you
Hmm.
do? Do you have any plans? Because I don't want to take you from your plans. But if
I
we
don't
did
know.
our show on Tuesday
Hmm.
on the normal time, we would be bringing in the New Year, a home theater New Year right here.
Yeah, across Europe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could do that. Yeah, it'd be great.
If
Hmm.
you're open to, I don't want to take away from your
No, no, no.
plans, but if you're open to it, we could do. I mean, hey, I wish John was here, but we could wait for the balls to drop.
Well, it's no, we can do that. We can do that, and then straight after, I can then go and join the festivities. That's okay. I can do that. It'll be a racket off mic because
Oh,
it all
nice.
does go kind of crazy when it hits midnight here. The
Yeah,
fireworks
yeah.
go off and all that stuff. Well, no, we can see it in, but I would then have to go straight after because I'll get told off.
Of course, of course. And then and I'd be done here at 7, so
Yeah,
I'd still have plenty of time. So for the
for your
festivities or
balls to
whatever.
drop.
Exactly, exactly. So that would
Yeah,
be
no, we can
fun.
do that'll be good. Yeah, no, that'll be fun. We can do that. Yep. And if there's any change, I'll let you know, but I don't think there will be. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go. It's like,
Yeah.
and if we have to, we move it to the Monday because if
Yeah.
plans
Quite.
come up or something happens. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking
Right.
about. So now, tomorrow, when you hear us talking about it in the Tie Hard show, you'll be like, we know the answer. Kind of.
I'm
So.
looking forward to listening to that. I'll listen to that tomorrow. Got a bit of driving around to do, so I shall be listening to that and seeing how it all shakes out. Maybe you can tell what happens at the end of Die Hard. I mean, I have no idea what happens.
Yeah, no idea. It's a
Spoiler
new
alert.
movie.
Yeah.
New movie. So I actually have a question here that I wanted to bring on. It comes from AV Nirvana. I got it from our buddies over there, Todd over there,
Mhm.
and it was on their website. And I'll pop it up here. Active stage. There it is. It says Happy Holidays, Brightside HT. This is part of their emails, and you can go on the website and add to this thread. But I thought it was a good question for us to discuss. It's like, how often do you upgrade your primary or secondary TV displays? Do you upgrade every few years to take advantage of new display tech? Do you keep what you have until something major comes along, HDR, 4K, OLED, etc.? Do you only look for deals, or maybe it's a combination of all of the above? What are your upgrade habits? So, yeah. So how do you look at that question, Steve?
Yeah, well, I personally, when I used to upgrade more regularly than I do now. So back in the day, before I had the current iteration of Cinema George, what I would do is I would upgrade every few years. Just something new looks better, that's great. But when we then set up Cinema George, I didn't just kind of go for an incremental leap. I took a running jump and then kind of
Mhm.
leapt out into the blue and spent, over $5 grand on a TV, which was way more than I'd ever spent before.
Right.
Because that was at that time. This is the 75-inch Sony Z9D or Z9D, which at the time was the absolute ultimate TV. And so I spent a lot of money on that one and jumped that couple of things further on. And
Right.
because of that, I haven't upgraded it since. So I'm not in any rush to upgrade it. I think it'll be only, and of course it does 3D and all that stuff, which of course you can't really get now, not on
Right.
a TV. So I think I will only upgrade it if something massive changes. So if it blows up, fine. If
Right.
something huge comes along that just pushes it to its next iteration, then maybe. But until then, I love the TV that I've got. And again, I think
Yeah.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Touch wood. Because there's
There
other
we
stuff to spend
go.
$5 grand on at the moment. And if I didn't love it, I would, then it would be easier to upgrade it. But I absolutely love the pictures that it puts out. So yeah, I don't feel the FOMO. I don't feel that yet. But if
Right.
something comes along which pushes that, then yes, I will. So I'm open to the idea, but don't think I need to do it just yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Um, Similar. I look back at my history, and then I think my history kind of follows the evolution of the hobby too, in
Mhm.
that like I used to go for like until something major comes along. So like if with your display, it'd be like, when we went from standard def to high def, that was, oh, you couldn't wait to get that. And there were years of dreaming, because when high def first came out, it was 70 grand for a high def television, and there wasn't any it was a lot like 8K is now. They had
Mhm.
high def displays before 2000, before 2001. They existed, but you were getting very limited broadcasts. I know 9/11, reading home theater magazines and home theater literature back then, 9/11 actually set high def back, because
Mhm.
that was one of the major outlets, that whole entire thing. And it's like, and then the entire budget of everything in this country went towards, Homeland Security. And I mean, for the FCC to redo the entire thing, to go from standard def to high def, all that, it was a huge ripple effect of that. But that was like, up until then, people were kind of the way it is now, right? So we had standard def up until the 2000s, 2001, right? And then you remember hearing, like, my parents bought a TV and they kept it for like 40 years. What's the difference? Nothing changed, right? It was there wasn't any big upgrade. But then we come in now, and the hobby actually had, between 2000 and today, we went from standard def to high def to 4K, HDR, all those things kept getting added in, and it gave us this new outlook of, oh, wow, we need to upgrade again, and we need to upgrade again. It was harder to keep your display because of that, right? And it was like,
Yeah.
there was no, like, to your point, I think you overbought at the time, future-proofed yourself,
Yeah.
but at the same time, no other tech came that could even beat that,
No.
right?
No.
And almost like, if your TV, knock on wood, doesn't die, but if your TV died tomorrow, you would probably spend far less to get that equal picture today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
So you're future-proofed. Why would you go out and even spend, say you spent the same money, how much better is that going to be for you right now? And I don't, maybe size would matter, or which it does.
Yeah, you get bigger for the same amount. I mean, it's one of the things I've seen, as I mean, I don't even do, in the old days, I used to walk into TV shops. I would see a TV shop. You'd be like, I'm going in, I'm going to go and have a kind of browse the lines and lines of TVs. And that used to be quite fun back in the day, but I haven't done it for a long time. But the last time I was in one of these shops, I was there for a laptop, not for a TV. And I did just kind of wander over. And the cost of these big screens has very much come down.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get an 85-inch TV for the same amount of money that I paid for my 75, and that's an OLED. You're talking a Sony OLED. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's definitely been a shift in terms of what you can get for your money. But at that time, that was all there was, and it was kind of fun because people didn't quite know what to make of the TV when I bought it.
Yeah.
The delivery guys were like, "Oh my god, we've only
Yeah.
delivered one of these." And again, the guy Vincentio who came to then calibrate it, then reviewed it for his YouTube channel because he said
Yeah.
Sony won't send them out; they're too expensive.
Right.
So so it was kind of cool. So there was a real buzz around the TV when I bought it.
Right.
And of course,
And
we
that
know someone who crossed country lines
exactly.
to go and get
Yeah.
one as well.
For that TV. Yeah. To get the
Yeah.
deal on it. Talking about
Mm.
Rob H over at
Mm.
AV Rant. And he
Mm.
drove, what was it, Arizona, I think? I
Mm.
think that's where it was. Like literally spanned the country in one aspect, like from north to south, from him and up in Canada. But all by himself and crammed that thing
Mm.
into his car because it was worth it. And it was, to your point, it was like future proof. Has the
Mm.
3D, it's not going to do that. And there's nowhere for you to go right now. And as part of the advice that I give people when they're looking to make a purchase on a display, it's like get as big as you can get, but don't worry about it when you're starting out.
Mm.
Don't worry about the quality, right? Don't spend money. Don't put all your money into the quality and get a smaller television, because if you're just starting out, you don't know what the difference is anyways. Get the bigger television and enjoy the size, because eventually if you spent $2,500 on a 55-inch OLED or something on the top of the line and all this, and you're like, yeah, that's great. And then you want to go to upgrade someday to bigger, you're going to have to lower your quality. And when you go bigger and lower your quality, it's going to look twice as worse.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, now all those flaws are bigger. It's like,
Yes.
go as big as you can. And then when you save up, maybe the tech comes down, like in your case, you save up and you can get you incrementally get bigger, right? Or get better quality for that same size. And it's all a matter of perspective on that, so,
Mm.
but yeah, it's like, it's hard. Like, and that's why I thought this was a great question, because I'm like, where we are now, especially, it's like HDR isn't really any better. It's like there's processors that do it better, as we know, and the TVs are going to be able to do it better maybe, but it's not going to be a huge upgrade. It's not like going from standard def to HD or even HD to 4K with HDR. I don't see anything like that coming down the line, not even 8K, because it's imperceivable, really.
Yeah,
So,
there doesn't seem to be the uptick on 8K that there was with 4. There just doesn't seem to be this rush to upgrade it, and I think sort of the most consumers sort of see through it to a certain extent. So they're
yeah,
only they're not. It just doesn't seem to be that uptick that there was. You're not getting 8K TV channels. You're not getting 8K movie channels. You're not getting 8K
no,
sports. So people are just well, why do I need that? I don't. All right, well, 4K then. And you don't
yeah,
seem to see loads of 8K TVs coming out now. That does seem to have been a bubble that kind of burst before it really set.
yeah,
It just purely from the my personal viewing of it. It's not like I've got my finger on the pulse particularly with it, but that's how it seems to me. And again, on the rare occasions that I wander into these stores, I don't see 8K, 8K, 8K everywhere. It's
yeah,
mainly 4K, and there's a couple of 8Ks in the corner, and just not doing very much by the looks of it.
yeah.
So yeah, but I suppose that the way I would say to anyone else wondering about this, if you like what you've got, don't just go out and buy something else for the sake of it. Don't upgrade because you think you should. Upgrade if you think you need to, or
If you see
want
a
to.
problem, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it could be
Mhm.
like going through the chat. It's like, obviously the number one problem is your TV died. Well, clearly you
Yeah.
need to
Mhm.
upgrade, right? That's always
Mhm.
like, oh my God, my TV died. Yay, time for an upgrade. It's like, yay, I get to go shopping and have some fun with this. Yeah, you miss out on, usually your TV dies while you're ready to sit down and watch something, because, kind of, your air conditioner doesn't crap out in January.
Mm.
So you have, that's the obvious answer. But then the other one is upgrading is usually like, I need a bigger screen, or I do see a flaw here. I want to see what is all of this about, because I've been trying to solve this. Why are my blacks not deep enough? Or why is this doing this? Why is there blooming? Whatever. You start to see flaws, then yeah, that's time for an upgrade. And it's like, and I think that's where we've come to. And it's funny. That wasn't in as an example in the question that they put. It was like, do you like this? Do you like that? It's like, take advantage of new displays. It's like, I think for me, it's always been, I see a flaw or my budget allowed. Like,
yeah,
for years, I couldn't get 1080p, a projector. I had a 720. And in the projector world, that is a difference because like if you're in a display, you can get anything under 70 inches, really 65 inches. You can go 720 and that's nearly if not imperceivable, 720 to 1080. But once you get up over 100 inches, that is a difference. And I had a 720 and I'd have the guys over to watch sports and the guys sitting in the front row, which my front row scooched closer because my second row is the primary. They were like, wow, this is tough because there's a difference at 100 and at that time the screen was 104. And so that is a difference. You can see it's a noticeable difference in going from 720 to 1080. And then when I went to 1080, they were like, oh, that's nicer. But then I finally was able to afford 4K shortly after. I think 1080 was the shortest I owned a projector. Before that, it was like, when the budget allows, then I would get, but 4K came out and I was like, I gotta get that because that's even noticeable, 1080 to 4K. So at that size, but that's what it was. If you see a flaw, that's the upgrade time, not just because you hear somebody go, it's on sale. Well, what's on sale? The problem?
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't see a problem, it's not a sale. You just spent money for no reason. So.
Yeah, no, quite. It definitely, and again, it's horses for courses, but that's how I've approached it recently. And again, that's why I've still got my TV from 2017, and I absolutely love it. And I mean, if I could see a flaw from 2017, they came out in 2016. Years. I got it 2017. Yeah, wow. But it was, but again, it was ahead of its time because of the fact that Sony were using them at that time to master their discs. I mean, things like The Shallows and movies like that. When I go back to movies that came out at that time that are Sony movies, they use the Z9Ds as their calibration monitors. There are documentaries on it. If you go on YouTube and type it in, they actually did little mini kind of making ofs showing them doing it using those TVs. So it was so far ahead of its time, and you paid the price for that it was worth it at the time. And I mean, I didn't just pick it out of thin air. I got a recommendation from a journalist who'd been doing it a long time, who said, if I could afford this TV, this is the one I would get. And I haven't looked back and just haven't felt the need as yet to jump forward. I mean, obviously people talk about OLED and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't see the issue in my particular environment. It's just awesome. Yeah. And I do still want to have the access to 3D, even though I don't use it very often. It's nice to have it. And again, it didn't have Dolby Vision initially. It came via an upgrade subsequently, which we got. And yet I don't use it because it doesn't make any difference to my eyes. It's exactly the same. Yeah. But
your processing is the processing in that is so good. It was future proof. Here we are 7 years later, and I'd be willing to bet that if you upgraded to an OLED, there is a difference, but it's not that dramatic. It's not worth it, right?
No.
And it's like,
and it comes with other problems. Yeah, the OLED then comes with other issues that I don't have at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So if go to AV Nirvana and check out that question, answer it your way. So there we go.
Talking of which, I realized we didn't say hi to people in the chat.
Yeah, let's get to I was going to say that because I mentioned the chat. I go, the chat's going crazy, and it's all coming to like, I want bigger, I want this, I want that. It's like, there you go. But
so say hi. So Steve At's in. Hi, Steve. Marcus Beebe is in.
Well, let's go with Steve At's first in. Finally, a link. I'm sorry, Steve. I got Christmas and Easter mixed up, and I was like hiding the eggs, and I was hiding the link. So I got it all mixed up, buddy. Wait till you see what I put under the tree in April.
There you go. So no comment.
Like, where's John?
Yeah, we need him for this. We need him for this. Interrupt this viewing. So Van Gool's in. Hi, Van Gool. Marcus Beebe's in, but we're not talking to Marcus Beebe, Deej. We're not talking to him.
Why? What happened? Oh yeah. You know what's so funny? The most overhyped. I don't think it is. I think it's underhyped as a Christmas movie.
So. Yeah. But yeah, so Marcus, for those listening, says the most overhyped Christmas movie, Die Hard. What's yours? Dear, oh dear,
Yeah.
Marcus. Right. I'm going to put you in home theater movie jail.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Jordan's in. Hiya, Jordan. Dom's in saying bonsoir. Hiya, Dom. We've got Rach is in. Hiya, Rach. Paul's in. Paul's saying he thought I was on dial-up this week. I can't see any quality issues, but maybe there's
No.
there's been some problems. Looks all right to me, but I don't know. We'll watch it back and see. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
No, I think it even sounds fine. No, I thought you sounded the same.
Yeah,
maybe I'm missing it too.
Yeah, JT says Happy Christmas, chaps. So dropped in on X. So hi, JT, if you're still watching. Greg's in. We talked about Greg. Okay. Hey, Greg. Fred's in. Hey, Fred. Ninja. Yep. C Big is in, saying hi, guys. Hi, C Big.
Hey, C Big.
And then Holger's just dropped in as well. Hey, Holger. Says hi there. So yeah, plenty in.
Nice.
They go. And the gang are all present and correct.
Nice.
The assembled congregation.
There we go. Yeah, Steve. I think it was Steve that I saw scrolling by. It was like the most overhyped Christmas movie. He wrote Home Alone.
He's a man after your own heart.
Well, no, I actually do think it's a Christmas movie. I don't think it's overhyped. It was billed as a Christmas movie. It's a holiday movie. It has that theme, you know, and but yeah, I had what did I get to? Oh yeah, I did. I had the question. I have another Christmas movie here for today, and then I have another one that's not really a Christmas movie, but I'm going to give you the Christmas theme out of this movie. And it may turn into a Christmas movie for me after my experience with it this year. So, and that's it. You want to see me bright side the crap out of something. Oh boy. All right. Green Lantern, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Steve, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Die Hard. Die Hard.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's my favorite film, pretty much. So I can't not. Yeah,
I know it's in your theater. You have that awesome poster in your theater.
Yeah, the Japanese release.
Japanese, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Japanese one sheet. Yeah. No, it's Die Hard. It has to be. I mean, it is a Christmas movie. Of that, there's no doubt. And it is one of my favorite films. It's the one that always springs to mind when I think of, someone says favorite movie. Off the bat, that's what I say. So yeah, it'll be that. And I mean, after that, then they all kind of gel in together after that. Die Hard stands out as a Christmas movie. The rest of it, I mean, obviously First Blood, it's close to that, as we talked about last week. But all the other ones, It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, the endless Christmas movies are all then kind of in as much of a muchness for me. But yeah, Die Hard's the one all day long. Sorry, the chat says I sound a bit muffled. Sorry, guys, I don't know what that is.
Really?
Yeah. Jordan says it. Fangal said it. Paul said it. Sorry, guys, I might be too close to the microphone. I'll try and sit back a bit. Hopefully that helps. But it also, guys, might be my voice. Because whilst I'm not coughing anymore, I've still got a little bit of something on my throat. So that might be that, guys. So sorry if it is. I'll do my best to talk properly.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
they'll make it out. They'll make it out. They understand you.
I know.
They're just not used to the perfection that we provide in audio here.
Oh, there we go. The smooth sounds of Steve George.
Yeah, sweet sounds. Yeah, me, Die Hard, of course. But then I would say the other one would be Christmas Vacation. And
yeah, which is great. Yeah, which I watched last year, didn't I, for the first time?
There you go. It's like, well, I mean, you got it in just under the wire. It'd been out for like 30 years.
There you go. Not before my birthday.
Right. Yeah, that was your excuse. I can't watch any Christmas movies till after my birthday. I'm like, you've had 30 of them.
More than that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, since it came out, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But that one there is like, obviously it's not a home theater movie, but it is really good in the theater now. But just the whole feel of it, I'm Clark through and through, and just over the top, extravagant Christmas, like decorations, like they do there, like in the movie. It's like that's part of Christmas is the family part, the nightmare of the family event, And even going back to like Thanksgiving, it's like driving to the in-laws, gotta do that. It's like that's the fun, and it's like, and it's not that's not how you feel. It's just like, where would you rather be? Work? Like, come on.
Well, do you know what, DJ? It's funny you said that. I was driving at the weekend and happened to be driving with some people to go and see some Christmas decorations and lights.
Yeah.
And there's a place not far from here that has, I've seen it in America, but I've never seen it here, that has all the music all linked to the lights and all kind of animations all linked to it and stuff. It's very American. I suspect the guy that has this house is probably American or has links to the US, because you're talking animations and I mean, it's incredible and leaps and bounds above what we get here. And as I was driving back from that, the person that I was with said, "Oh, what about DJ? What does DJ do in terms of like lights and things like that?" And I said, "Well, from what I remember," I said, "I think he goes all in." And it's all kind of stuff everywhere. But is that right? Am I right when did I answer that correctly?
100%. Yeah. When my kids were younger, I would go crazy every year, and I would the blow ups, everything outside the house, the big I remember we have a colonial, so our kids are on all the bedrooms on the second floor, and Joe's bedroom is facing the front. And it's like at Christmas time, he would be looking out at like a 12-foot Santa or a 12-foot tree, blow up tree. And then I had all these other things. And I'll say it here on this show. One year we came home. Luckily, the kids weren't with us. And Jen and I pull up the street. And as you pull by, you can see the front of our house from the road, obviously. We had maybe, I don't know, between 6-10 blow up across the front lawn, all of them sliced.
No,
somebody came by and sliced them all up, just like vandals. And we're not we're in a very rural, in the middle of the woods. Like, why would you do that? And I was just like, I lost it. I was like, and I was so mad. And my wife was like, "You got to calm down." I go, "No, I was mad because I was thankful the kids weren't with me to see, or not to see this, because then we went and got all new ones and put them back up, because I don't want the kids to come home and be like, somebody killed Frosty on the lawn."
He's been stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Open a window.
Or even Santa and Rudolph I had out there, like they're all sliced up, I mean, it's like you would have loved it. It's a horror movie of blow up dolls. John, where are you, buddy?
I thought that. I didn't say.
I know you did. I know you did. And I keep saying it. But but anyways, I was more upset. Like, what if I was home? Because there was no distinguishing. Like, we keep our cars in the garage. They just did this. They don't know we're not home. And I'm like, this is how people get really hurt. And she's like, "You wouldn't have hurt them." I go, "No, they probably would have. They had a knife. And do you think I'm just going to sit there and watch?" I would have run out at them. I would have been on the lawn. I'm like, that's the problem. That's what scared me. I'm like, what if I was home? I'm like, I would have been like, it was awful. But yes, I do go over the top. I never went over the top again with the blow up stuff after that.
Oh, see, that's a shame,
I did a few. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were getting older too, so it wasn't as, but I do love, like, I have Christmas lights on my house year round. I don't take them down. R and I have talked about it on our shows. Like, well, look, I'm looking at everything about me is Christmas. Like 12 months of the year. It's all like, how do you get to Christmas? What can I do for decorations? Even designing the new house. It's like, me and R were talking about, like, I talked to my gutter guy. I'm like, "Do you have the ones with lights in them?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "No, but that's a good idea." Yeah, that's where I keep hearing about it. But yeah, so the new house has lights on it. I have candles in the window. But this year I did nothing anywhere. We don't even have anything in our house. No tree, nothing.
But you normally have all your cards up, because you keep your cards up all year as well, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, our cards go up across the beam in the living room. The old cards from last year are still up, and the cards we're getting are in a pile. This year has not been good for that stuff. It's like, and I feel like I'm between homes. So, and now what I love to think about balance. Wait till next year. Coming back with a vengeance. I'm telling you. So, yeah. But yes, typically I go crazy. Yeah.
Oh, man. I've just tweaked the audio settings, by the way, very briefly, just messed around with it. I don't know if that sounds any better.
Yeah.
Hopefully, guys.
I
it's a
wouldn't
bit
worry
better.
about it, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. To be fair, the microphone, when I connected it earlier, it did move around a bit. I may need to mess about with it, but I'll do that another time. No, it was. Well, that's terrible though, isn't it? That people doing that can then change how you then do your celebrating. You know, that sucks. Yeah, that's really strange. But this guy, this musical thing that this guy's done. I mean, you know, you're talking blaring music, and again, all these animations, which are very cool. But I wouldn't want to live next door to them.
No,
because it's great fun for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like done.
We have a neighborhood here. It's a few towns over, and we happen to be me, my wife, and my friend, and her daughters. We were going from one place to another, and we just had in two different cars of people, and we happened to go through this neighborhood, and I'd never heard of it, but they had in their car, and they're like, "Check this out!" And it's a house that's like you're talking about, over the top. So over the top that they have a FM station that you tune to, and you get the music in your car that coincides with the lights. So here we are trying to get from one place to the next. We're trying to get to dinner, and it's like, all right, the kids are going crazy. The kids are loving it. We got to pull over and sit there and watch the lights blink in accordance with the radio in the car, which is so cool. Right. And it's
I've never heard of that before. That is new.
Oh, yeah. It's big around here. There's people like from towns away are trying to outdo other people. They see something like, I can do that one better. And that's what it used to be fun, even when I was a kid, to drive around and just look for Christmas lights, and you'd hear from other people. And that was an event, you know, and it's, my kids are older now, so we don't do that, but it is fun seeing that stuff. And we've gotten some snow around here recently, so it's really cold right now. And that makes it even more fun. So you have snow on the ground, you have the whole thing. But I've thought of bringing snow in. That's how crazy I get. Yeah.
Well, then you go back to the #dork issue with poor Frosty. It's melting. Yeah. I'm melting. Open a window.
Open a window. Take one of these pots and break a window.
Break a window.
Davey.
Oh, my God. I think we have a new listener, Theodorus. Or Theodorus, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. Saying hi, I'm enjoying the show.
Hey,
thanks for checking in. Hiya.
Thanks, Theodorus. Awesome.
Welcome in. The water was warm.
Happy. Yeah, exactly. And John's not even here.
Oh yeah.
John's usually the one warm in the water.
Yeah, indeed.
Happy holidays, Theodorus. Theodorus. I wonder where in the world. I wonder.
Theodorus, if you're dude, let us know where you are.
Let us know where you coming from in the world.
Yeah, we're hoping for the Antarctic.
We haven't had that yet. Come on in. Crapped out. Crapped out. Douglas, Mass. Like, damn.
Yeah, around the corner. Known you for 20 years, Steve. What the hell?
You get the... Oh, he's right here.
Hi.
Exactly. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Right.
No good. And Paul is still saying, sounds like check the audio in sample rate, 22 kilohertz. Paul, I don't know what that means. I plug this thing in and I talk to it.
We're going to do that we'll do that a little later, because he'll go in to check in anything into the computer and be like, we lost Steve. We won't get him back till February.
Yeah, it's just what? Like, I know this is a plug and play microphone. This is nothing clever.
Yeah,
but it might. If there's maybe there's an issue with it. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as you're still speaking English and we can understand you,
as far as I know.
Not that I have any problems with any other languages. I just don't understand them. What's wrong with Spanish? I don't understand it. It's a beautiful language.
Hey, thumbs up. Thumbs up for Spanish.
Here we go. Nice. Oh, for the love. All right. What do you think Lilo and Stitch want to hear first?
Lilo and Stitch. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Who can say?
What's that?
Who can say?
Who can say? All right. Let's go. You want to bring up, we'll start with this little holiday classic that is definitely not a holiday classic, but I cannot wait to hear all about this one. I tried to get it. I didn't. I wasn't able to. It wasn't available to me in time, so I didn't bother. And anyways, you ready?
Yes, let's kick
off the holiday season.
But just before we do that,
Theo
does say he's in Australia. There we go. That's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, nice.
oh,
Always
okay. He
stuff.
changed his name. So is that Theo? Theo, we know. My buddy
Yes.
Theo it's been down there for. I mean, he's a long time listener. Theo, yeah,
Oh,
I
Cal,
just
what on there? There you go.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
incognito, undercover.
Yeah, changing his name. Well, that's all right. Made me excited. We got new listeners. I don't know. Everybody change your name and tell me you're new.
Yeah. It was a
Merry
completely new
Christmas.
show.
Our numbers didn't go up, but we're excited.
Yeah. All right, go on then. Sorry, you were doing your wind up for this one. Sorry.
All right, here we go. The holiday, non-holiday classic. Let's kick off the festive season with. There you go.
With Demolition Man. Yes, indeed. 1993, I want to say, something like that. I think it was. This is the new Arrow release in 4K, UHD, and the audio I'll tell you about in a minute.
Oh, jeez.
Because I got it wrong. So this is, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all seen this movie. All of us of a certain age have certainly seen this movie many times. And what do you think of it, DJ? I mean, do you look at it as a classic? Is it or is it kind of a middle of the road kind of film? What's your view of Demolition Man?
I love it. I love it. It's to me, it's campy. It's fun. It makes fun of itself. It's action for action's sake. It's a home theater experience for home theater's sake. So much. It's to me, it's the exact opposite. It's like if you could box set this in 4K, HDR, Atmos, all that, box set this with Cobra. You have the two Stallone films that are the exact opposite of what they are. Cobra is the exact same way, but it's supposed to be serious.
Yeah.
You know, he's
crime is the disease.
It's
not
the cure. It's exact. That's where I was going. Steve, you didn't let me get there. You
Sorry.
stepped all over it. Jesus. What do we rehearse for?
Language.
Oh, jeez. So, language.
That's the movie in which he's so tough in Cobra. Cobretti is so tough that he can't just pull Peter. You've got to cut Peter with scissors.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. That's in this movie is the exact opposite. Right? Like this is like he's tough, he's this is that, but it's a comic book come to life again. You know, that's why you can't take it serious. If you do, it's, you know, you're missing the point to me.
Yeah.
Now, the one a lot of people like are amazed that if I like that, how do I not like Judge Dredd? I don't like, because that one was a comic book, but then they made it campy. Judge Dredd wasn't supposed to be like that. And it's like, it was just ridiculous. That was like what Demolition Man is, but it's not supposed to be. And it didn't play that way either. I thought Judge Dredd was awful. Kind of like, what's his name? So Tim Burton did the first two Batman movies, right? 89 and Batman Returns. And then Joel Schumacher took over?
Yes.
Right. So when Joel Schumacher took over, at least we had those first two, which were closer to, they weren't Nolan-like, but they were dark, right? Like Batman's supposed to be. It got campy, Schumacher, and that was almost an homage to Batman 66, like the TV show, right? So at least we had that. Judge Dredd, not supposed to be like Demolition Man. So that's why I was just like, and the acting I thought was horrible. I thought everything about, I hated it. But this one, back to this, awesome.
Yeah, Dredd was a film made about Judge Dredd by people that don't understand Judge Dredd, or probably never even read it. You know, it was the 2000 AD comic on which Judge Dredd, or in which Judge Dredd appears. They didn't get that. They didn't understand it. So they took Judge Dredd and made a Stallone movie rather than taking Stallone and making a Judge Dredd movie. And as soon as he took his helmet off, that was all bets were off. It's like, that's never been done.
Right.
And if he won't sign on unless he does that, then why are you making a Judge Dredd film? But anyway, that's a different film.
Exactly. But yes, I love this movie.
Okay, good.
Do you have good news for me, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love this movie. I do like it a lot. I
Yeah.
don't love it for reasons I'll explain in a minute, but I do like it a lot. And I saw it in the theaters. I remember that, send a maniac to catch a maniac,
Mm.
all this kind of stuff. And it was and it was fun. And of course, when it came out, I think it is 93. And of course, it's set in 97 initially, this future LA. And of course,
Yeah.
the future 1997.
Yeah.
Although he does go forward to 2032. So we are still in time for that, which is good news. So we're not, because so many of them, like Back to the Future, is 2015. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, okay, what, So at least we haven't got to this yet. I was checking. Anyway, so I do like the film. I don't love it. And the reasons I don't love it is I find some of it's a bit icky. The Sandra Bullock thing is icky. Bearing in mind, you heard the thing about that she's his daughter. That Lieutenant Huxley is in fact his daughter
In real life.
no
Not
no
in real
no
life, but in the movie, right?
yeah
Okay.
the suggestion being that she's his daughter, and
Right.
it does very much points that way, and yet they kiss and they do all kinds of, it's all a bit, so that's a bit icky, and once I realized that's
kind of like
what
Luke and Leia.
Yeah, but Luke and Leia don't do what these two do, and aren't sort of lusting after each other for the entire movie, which is a bit weird. So when I realised that's where it was, that was a bit icky, and I don't quite. I think the filmmakers think that's a joke. I think they think it's funny, and I don't.
Yeah.
So that's a bit weird. But also, I think it struggles sometimes with wanting to be an action movie and be a comedy, and some of that doesn't always work. There are times when it definitely works. I mean, the three seashells entered into common lexicon. I mean, if you say that, people know what it is. And what is interesting about this version, particularly of the movie, is I didn't realize there were two versions. I didn't realize that there was a domestic version and an international version where they changed the restaurant. So in the US one, it's Taco Bell, isn't it? That's become the thing. But in the international version, we don't really have Taco Bell anywhere else other than the US. And so they changed it to Pizza Hut.
Oh.
Now, I've never seen the international version, so I don't know what I saw in theaters. I mean, I must have been the Taco Bell one.
Yeah.
But this film's got both. So you can choose at the beginning whether you want Taco Bell with
That's
Taco Bell
awesome.
signage and them all talking about that, or whether you want the Pizza Hut version where you've got Pizza Hut signage, which has been dropped in via CG, I assume.
Yeah.
But you've got some of the worst ADR that you've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Because what happens is, so they change
What's
the
it look
restaurant,
like,
and they
a
didn't do
Godzilla
another
movie?
take. Yeah, so literally, she goes, in the future, everyone is, and she just mouthed,
Right.
and then she goes, Pizza Hut.
Oh, God.
And he then replies, Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, like,
okay.
the words don't even match. The audio doesn't match up with the lips.
Close.
No lip sync.
Not even close. None. They didn't do an alternate take and some say Pizza Hut. It's like a 70s kung fu movie, where the audio is not running in sync with the dialogue. It looks outrageously bad. It's distractingly bad, but it is fun that they try.
But it's funny, yeah.
So there we go. But no,
but
I
what's
do
funny,
like it.
Even the idea, though, that they're going to ruin a movie so that, well, actually think about it, Steve. How much did Pizza Hut pay for them to ruin the movie?
Quite
internationally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
It would have been worth it to them.
Hey, this is worth it. Nobody cares, but everybody's going to know Pizza Hut is set in the movie internationally. And it's like, they're like, we want to make some money overseas. What can we do? And, Taco Bell, and maybe, I mean, what's so ridiculous? I could see this being the case of like Taco Bell paying enough money and being like, but we're not going to give you a ton of money because it's only in this country. And then they're like, well, we want more for international. Well, we're not international. And how cheap was Pizza Hut not to just put up all the money up front so that we could have just had Pizza Hut in the first place everywhere?
Yeah, quite.
Because they're over here too. Version. So what kind of negotiations went into ruining the movie? For all intents and purposes, right?
Indeed. Yeah, well, I'm sure they paid a fair bit, though. I suppose you get double the money then, don't you? You're not just going to get Pizza Hut, you get a Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. So
right,
yeah,
but why didn't Pizza Hut just pay double? Like they wouldn't pay the money to be in this country too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could have had one movie if one of them paid enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank God there wasn't a third party.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, the McDonald's version. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sushi
Yeah,
in Japan,
exactly.
and we'll go with paella in Spain, and lasagna in Italy.
Yeah,
Just to see how many versions can we sell.
exactly.
But yeah, so that is, it's a fun to have the choice though, and I
Yeah.
didn't know there were two versions, so that's quite fun. But it does, the ADR is dreadful,
Oh,
and it is quite fun to watch very closely in this version to see that they have changed all the signage. So they have done it. Whether they did it with CG or they did it, with animation, I don't know because it's getting on a bit. But they have changed the Pizza Hut logo, the Taco Bell logo, and in the background you can see it. So yeah, what little bit of extra enjoyment.
yeah.
So the film though is good. It is showing its age. The fighting is not quite as what we're used to now, and it is of its time, but it is fun and it is well worth seeing again. And if you're a fan of the movie, and you'll know by now whether you are or not,
Yeah.
then and if you are a fan, it's well worth picking up. So that's the film. In terms of the video, it's not as grainy as it appears in that picture, by the way. There's animated menus, so I just had to snap one. I took about 20, and that was the best of them all. It's nowhere near that grainy. The picture's a little bit of a mixed bag. It is better than it's ever looked before, and it is better than the Blu-ray which I had. But it is a bit of a mixed bag. There are times where the contrast is very, very, very high. Some of the exterior stuff looks weird because it's been pushed so bright that everything looks flat and weird. And that happens a couple of times. So it's definitely not perfect by any means, but there are close-ups that look great. Wesley Snipes, and you can see he's got the for some reason they've given him the mixed different colored eyes. There is a name for it. I can't remember what it is. And they really stand out now with the HDR again. So that really does look good. And there is detail here. It just varies. It's not consistent, which I'm sure is source dependent because this is a 4K original camera negative remaster. So
Yeah.
it must have been baked into the source, it would seem to me. So, but it does look better than it has before. So then the audio. Now, I'm glad we're in a safe space, as we say, our circle of trust. So what I do when I put a movie on, when I put a film in, it's not often or not always that I check what audio codec there is on it. And so what I tend to do is I put it on and then, hit play or set up if I need to, and then just hit play. And then I will turn on the information on screen graphics from my receiver to tell me what's coming through. Is it Atmos? Is it DTS HD? Whatever it might be. Now, I had assumed, and we know when it comes to assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Yes, indeed. So I had assumed that this must have just been DTS HD 5.1. Okay, so that's what came out of it. When I put the information on, there it was. I'm like, okay, great. And I then became a bit disappointed because it was really front heavy and quiet. And it was like, wow, this is just not good. And I was turning my head to check the rears are working. It's like, okay, this just seems. So I bumped up the audio above where I normally listen to. And it's like, well, it's at least I can hear it. It's okay. And about halfway through, literally, I kid you not, after a big action sequence where, again, it all felt very front heavy, despite the fact it was upgraded, up mixed to Neural X. Thanks, Rach. Brilliant. She's heterochromia. That's it. I knew it was something like that. Thanks, Rach.
Nice.
That's the eyes color. So I was like, well, this is just weird. Something's not right here. And I thought, well, let me just check the codecs to see what's on the setup menu. I click setup. There's a Dolby Atmos track. So I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake, I'm halfway through the movie by now. And I'm like, right, okay, well, I'm not going to start again. I haven't got time for that. But I'll back up before this big action sequence, the one outside of Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. And on goes the Atmos track, right? And it was like someone just had taken the audio and thrown it to the back of the room. The whole thing came alive. And like, right, okay, this is clearly what I should have been listening to from the beginning. And then you've got then the penetration, the room acoustics are great, the sound is moving, and of course the big sequence at the end, spoiler alert, in the cryo chamber where you've got the spinning arm thing goes right round the room and it's over the room and there's all the hissing and all the gas was all coming off, and it suddenly then sounds really good for a movie from 1993 that isn't Jurassic Park. It sounds really good, and it does actually then come alive. So anyone not like me, all right, who didn't check, all right, do make sure you select Dolby Atmos from this. Otherwise, you'll get what I got, which is a really crappy front-centered 5.1 mix. It seems. Paul says, "You sure I didn't get the 2-channel stereo?" It wasn't. It was 5.1. That I did check, but I didn't realize it had Atmos. It's on the back of the box. I just didn't look.
Yeah.
But the Atmos track is the one to choose, and then it comes alive, and it's actually really engaging and enjoyable. So I do recommend the disc. If you like the movie, definitely pick it up. It's not on Kaleidoscape yet, presumably, because it's an Arrow release.
Yeah, it's Arrow. I have it. I own it already in HD, and that has the DTS Master Audio 5.1. But
well, I recommend picking this up. I mean, it is, again, you love the movie, you'll love the disc, and again, the Atmos track is good when you remember to select the Atmos track.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very cool. I did enjoy it. I'm glad it's in the collection. It'll be a while before I see it again, because as I said, I like it, I don't love it, but I'm glad I picked it up. And the collector's edition, by the way, comes with all kinds of all kinds of stuff. You know, there's loads of extras. There's new documentaries. There's new commentary tracks. We don't normally talk about the extras, do we? But there are, there's commentary tracks. There's loads of new interviews. It comes with posters and art cards and stuff. So it is worth, if you're a fan and you want all that stuff, then well worth getting hold of.
Yeah, awesome. Well, like I said to you before, I wanted to. I tried to grab it in time, and it wouldn't be here until after New Year's. So I was like, "Oh, all right, I'll just wait, and I'll see if it drops on Kaleidoscape, because they do work with them every now and then. But I'll get it. I'll eventually have it, and then we'll talk about it then.
It'll be interesting to see if the American version has the US and the international version on it, or whether they just give you the US version. You can see it there actually in the picture. It says US version, international version. So it'll be interesting whether the American one will just be the US version.
I would hope, because that's part of the package, right? It's part of the specials, part of what makes it fun, and especially for people in the U.S. go, I didn't even know there was an international version. Like, what's the difference? And I mean, creates buzz, creates a reason to buy it for people that might not otherwise buy it. So makes
Jordan
sense to
came up
me.
with an interesting little tidbit. I like this. So Arrow has corrected a subtitled issue that was seen with the old Warner Brothers Blu-ray. There's a scene where Stallone yells out Phoenix, but on the old Warner Brother Blu-ray, the subtitles incorrectly read out as penis.
Oh, no. Jeez. That's great.
Whoops. I mean, whoever did that made a dick of themselves.
Yeah. Well, if his name is Richard, that's not bad.
Yeah. It sounds like the old Warner Brothers release is funnier.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I noticed Nelson just dropped in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Nelson.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're feeling better. I know Nelson's not feeling well, and he's actually stuck at home for the holidays because he's not feeling well. And I was supposed to talk to him. I'm like, I've been running around. I was like, oh, sorry about that, buddy. Didn't get back to you. So I will. but yeah, I hope you're feeling better, buddy.
I just see Skylake Pro Cinema mentioned that movie was predicting the future with that one. I'm not sure what he means by predicting the future with that. But with these movies, a bit like with RoboCop and things like that, it's quite fun to see what they got right about the future and what they got wrong. I mean, they've got discs, they've got video discs, which they use, albeit in weirdly, they've got the 16:9 ratio on its end, on its axis. So when one of the calls comes through, that phone call, the video call from the shower, a bit odd, but anyway, it's on its end, which is
they do have just the seashell thing, so of course.
Well, that is true. Has anyone, by the way, to your knowledge, has anyone tried to decode that? Has anyone tried to work out what that is? Because I'm not aware if they have. Someone probably has on YouTube. Yeah. Because presumably this didn't just come out of nowhere. So the guy who wrote Demolition Man, whoever it was, didn't go 3 seashells and never think that through. Surely there's something to that.
Maybe he did. Maybe that's exactly what he was doing. He's like being something so obscure that meant nothing. Like, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's the closest I could come to is be like, if they're evolutionists, we come from the ocean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm sure they've been asked 1 billion times.
Right. Yeah. Well, what does that actually mean? Yeah. It's like, but that's what's fun about the movie. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Right.
Yeah. And it is. Just, yeah. Oh, quite. And, but I'm glad we don't live in that society because the way I swear, I'd always be paying 1 credit, be constant to things coming out. You are fined 1 credit for breach of the verbal morality code.
There you go.
Actually, Paul, look at Paul. He's right, in fairness. So that's quite accurate, actually. Everyone's shooting vertical video now.
It's true.
True, yeah.
Well, the
yeah,
other
fair
part,
play,
I
Paul.
think, wasn't this one and Minority Report also had it, but I think this one had it as well, that everywhere you go, you're being tracked and
Filmed,
the ads are being made for you. So like when you drive by a Best Buy, your phone knows, and you'll get, if you're you'll get Best Buy ads literally on your phone. It's like everything you do is being tracked. And I thought that was in this movie too, just from the fact that everywhere you go, if you say something, you get fined. So they're like listening to you. They did. It was a fun, campy way of doing the Big Brother 1984 thing, right? So it's like, you know, which and it's all coming true. It's like,
oh yeah. Well, this is the thing though. What is like chicken and egg? Is it coming true because this movie put it on screen first, or was it always going to do that and this was just highlighting it? Which comes first?
I think it's well, discs doesn't surprise me. I was going to say that disc, because we always had discs, but we had them hidden. We had a plastic cover on it that was square, but inside was a disc that spun. So just even the idea of eliminating the plastic cover, and we'd had discs since computers, which are what, 50s goes back. I mean, so you had, I mean, everything we always had, and then records were discs. So taking a record and go, you know, that doesn't surprise me. The 1984 stuff, that's human nature. That's what that is.
I mean, in 93, of course, we'd have had compact discs for a long time from the 80s. So, but the difference is, rather than music, you've got movie.
Right, but we had laser discs. So we shrunk them, right?
Oh, yeah. So there's all that they got right. And again, I suppose some of the cognitive behavioral therapy stuff as well, they kind of got right, the way they can change your behavior based on, you know, subliminal messaging and things like that. I mean,
that's proven.
Kind of,
that's proven and made. I mean, I remember learning that when in the 80s when I was a kid, there's a law against it. You can't put it in commercials because you can do it. And they tested it. Like, why did everybody go out? I forget what it was, but it was like, why did everybody go buy a Super Bowl yesterday? It's crazy. It's like, all of that stuff is like, it's all real. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Jordan says, you love that Sandra Bullock supposedly got asked about the 3 seashells at a win at a premiere screening for Gravity. I mean, they must have been asked about it forever, mustn't they?
Yeah.
And someone like Sandra Bullock probably take that in her stride and think it's quite funny. I doubt Stallone did, because he's sort of famously quite prickly, allegedly, when it comes to asking him things he doesn't want to be asked about. But he's probably have asked him.
It's funny when you say that. It's like, who's the bigger star, Bullock or Stallone? Who probably got asked it more? So they're probably both just as prickly. He just had way more opportunities, right? So there's way more people out there going, he's prickly. He has 1,000 people saying he's prickly. She has like 10. But they, you know what I mean? But it's like that fold. So it's like, you're going to have that. It's like, and when you get asked it that many times, how many times can you go, it's a line in a movie, people. Come on.
Oh dear. I'm not sure I understand all of this, but I'll hopefully this is nothing inappropriate. So Martin J says, Reddit said, Waters called Larry Karaszewski, who happened to be in a bathroom at the moment, looked around, saw some seashells as part of a poker reset, mentioned it to Waters. The rest is history.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Well, if it's on Reddit, it's got to be true.
100%.
Exactly. That's why we're not on Reddit yet.
Yeah. Because we haven't got 3 seashells.
Nope. Never hit up the 3 seashells. All right. Here we go. This is the one I was talking about earlier.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
So
Civil War.
Yeah. There you go again. Jeez.
No, I can just see it. I'm just seeing it. Trying to show that I can guess.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You just can't let me like surprise the listeners and viewers.
But which one?
Exactly. Thank you. All right. So the suspense is killing everybody here. So in going back into my catalog titles of what was this one from? This is, what year was this? 16, is it? 16, I believe. So Captain America Civil War from 2016 on Kaleidoscape, 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision, Atmos, all of that. Going through my catalog titles, enjoying, the upgrade that I perceive as I say, on my Lumagen and everything. And this movie looks fantastic, as it always has. One of my favorite MCU movies. The fact that it's a Captain America movie, but it's basically it's like Avenger, what is this, 1.5 or something like that? Is this, I can't remember. Oh no, this is after.
This is after Age of Ultron, isn't it?
Yeah, Age of Ultron. So, oh yeah, it has to be, because what happened is in Ultron, in that one, is what causes this movie. But man, so much fun. Just, I mean, it's just, this is another one of those like comic book movie. It is a comic book movie, and we'll get into that part in a second. Of like, but made so well that it's like, it's hard to believe. Other than that, they are literally comic book characters running around in their suits and everything and doing the whole thing. But it's such a fun action movie. Has a good story. Should they do it? The argument back and forth. Do you Stark, or do you side with Stark, or do you side with Rogers? And the entire thing of that. There's discussion on all that, and maybe we can get into a little bit of that. But the home theater part of it, though, for a Disney movie, I mean, I thought the audio is excellent. I think the explosions, the bass is really good. It's not Lucy by any stretch of the imagination. But it has great pans, the battle scenes with characters flying, things tipping over, going into, I mean, when you end up inside Iron Man's suit, spoilers for everybody, when Ant-Man goes in there, it's like hearing the noise around him. And then when it starts to flood the suit and it feels like it's chasing you in your room, it's stuff like that. It's just it's so much fun. Right. And again, going back to like, is it the upgrade of the picture? Is it just I hadn't seen it in a while? Is there a tweak to myself? But I'm like, I don't think it's ever sounded as good. And I watched this movie a lot. Picture wise, yes, it was stunning. Stunning. Like I said, the upgrade, seeing those brights and that final scene, I like, that's a poster. That's an artistic shot right there of them, him with the shield and then the blast from Iron Man and them holding it and the way that's framed on the screen and everything. But now I'm seeing that that blast is, I've never seen it like that before. Silhouette, the sky in the background, the sky when Rhodey gets shot down, and you see like the blues, the skies, the crashing to earth inside Rhodey's helmet, the contrast between watching him fall and then you go into the helmet and then, dead stick, the whole thing. Just amazing picture. So if you have an OLED and you haven't seen this in a while, pop it in. If, it's excellent. I wouldn't say reference from beginning to end. I think the picture it's that good. It doesn't have as many action scenes, but it's a ton of demo material throughout this movie, which we've talked about in the past. But the other part, Steve, before I even ask you about it, is this is the one that I told you. I'm like, this is kind of holiday classic for me now. Because watching this movie through my lenses right now, it's about family, and it's about family battling and family. That big hotel, yeah, that big airport battle is them telling each other like, "Love you, but I'm gonna kick the crap out of you right now." It's like, right, and it's like when you have them all face off, and it's all like it's all the characters that are, for all intents and purposes, like a couple, right? Like Steve and Tony. It's like they face each other. Steve doesn't go against, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. He goes against Tony, right? So they all match up like that. And then you have the two humans there where it's Black Widow and Hawkeye, and they literally talk about it, right? They're like, "Oh, are we going to be friends? Are we still friends?" Well, it depends on how, and they're joking about it, right? And that you're bringing other people. It's like, Tony goes and recruits Spider-Man. It's like, I'm bringing somebody new to the family. Introduce them to the family. Here we go. What's a better way to introduce them at the holidays? And let's get into a big fight. It's like, he's on my side. And it's like, but then even at that, it's like you have Steve Rogers saying to, "Hey, where you from?" He's like, Brooklyn. It's like, or Queens, Brooklyn. Hey, nice to meet you. You got, they're getting along and they're kicking the crap out of each other. Right. And it's like, that's what I'm like, that's Civil War. That's family interfighting and the things that go on. And that's what happens at the holidays. It's like you fight, you do and it's like, all right, it's like, you got to come together, but it's like, but then it's like, but it's all going to be okay. And that at the end of the movie, that's what happens at the end of the movie. Right. Because it's like they have this huge blowout, but they end the fight. That's like, here's a phone. You need me? Give me a call because I'll be there. So do you like it, Steve?
It's one of my favorite Marvel movies of the MCU. It is great. I haven't seen it in a long time, I must admit, because this is when they were still doing the 3D versions, weren't they? And they were doing the 3D ones, and then you had the 4K ones came out after, and there's an IMAX version that Paul's talking about on Disney Plus, and all these different ones. And the 3D ones, of course, opened up in those sequences, so you had that kind of stuff. But but still, I prefer the 4K. No, it's one of my favorite ones. It's a great movie. Where Marvel were firing on all cylinders, and I'm one of the people that thinks they haven't been always of late. But I think that in this one, of many of them, they were absolutely, just mining gold during this. And you're right. I particularly love the family analogy. I like that. It's very cool. And I didn't think of it. I do like that. That's actually really good. But to me, again, I go back to, as I mentioned loads of times, about the Shakespearean side of it. Brothers who become enemies and are torn apart by circumstances and fate, and what that means to them and others. I mean, in Shakespeare, everyone will just get dead at the end. But that's not how we do it in modern times. It needs to be a kind of a neater bow to it than that. But I do like that, and I'm fascinated about how Marvel take their time to build up these characters of Tony and Steve, as you were saying about which one are you on side. Neither of them is wrong. You kind of like them both, and you can see their perspectives. Neither of them's a villain, really. And so it's kind of, and you don't want to see them fight. And so when they do, you're like, oh, I don't actually want anyone to win. And I think that's really good. And there are many movie examples where that hasn't worked. I mean, I would say personally, as much as I like the movie, I think Revenge of the Sith drops the ball on that in terms of you don't feel there's never been this warmth between Anakin and Obi-Wan. From Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith, you never felt that warmth. And we've talked before, and because I love that sequence in A New Hope, where you've got Obi-Wan say he was a cunning warrior and a good friend. And the way that Alec Guinness says that, and the warmth that he gives to that line, he's never earned in the prequels. So they had 6 hours and more to try and get to this point where they're brothers and they love each other, and we don't want them to fight, and kind of drop the ball a bit on that.
But they did pick it up with the Clone Wars. With the animated series.
But you shouldn't have to have something else to give effect to something that you've been doing. And yet in this movie, I think this is where Marvel thread that needle beautifully. You don't want these two to fight. You don't want anyone to get seriously hurt. It's the kind of thing, and in a family, again, to use your Christmas analogy, if there were literally two brothers fighting, you'd step in between them because you're worried someone's going to get hurt. And that's what you get here, and you don't want them to do what they're capable of doing, because either one could kill the other. And you don't want that to happen. So that's one of the beautiful things about this movie, not least all the good action as well, and the mounting of it and the staging of it and everything else. It's that bit where they go, right, we're going to fight.
We're going to fight. But they even, obviously, spoilers for everybody that hasn't seen it. Come on, people. But they legitimately fight at the end. And Tony's mad enough that he really does want to, you would think he would want to kill him, or even, but they purposefully, like the line earlier, like you're pulling your punches, right? And so, Shane.
I've just seen it. Yeah, no, I've just seen that.
Oh my God.
Shane, dial in. Shane
woke up. Yeah, exactly. Shane waking up from his nap and comes in with Israel was interesting.
Let the record show Shane raised it this time, not me.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, buddy? Happy holidays.
Dial in, Shane. I need to know more.
Yeah, exactly. What was I saying? Yeah, no, but they're pulling their punches. And it's said, it's like you're pulling your punches, right? So it's like, hang on. is he really pulling his punches at the end? You know, as knockdown, drag out as they get, is he really pulling his punch? Is he pulling his punches? And because that's what's fun about the battle. So, and I think Steve clearly is, because he doesn't feel that way. But it's like, but that's the whole. I get into the other part, like on its face, like what this really looks like to most people, what this movie represents. But it's the, like, Steve knowing that how his parents died and not telling him. These are like the family issues that come up. Like, how did you not tell me? How did you not? You've got that information you didn't tell. And like how, you know the movies after this, they come together. But it's stuff can happen, and that's what this movie's about. But what I was going to say is, like, on its face, your Saturday morning cartoon, you're eating your cereal before, your parents get up, and you've got your action figures. What did we own for action figures as kids? It's like we had all the heroes, very few villains. So what did you do on the floor watching your Saturday morning? This was what you did. That airport scene is what you did. It was like, what would happen if Iron Man fought, this part? And so it was the child in us, like, reenacting what we did on the floor. It's like as kids. But then they throw a deep story behind it, or one that I imagine is deep. So might not be, but that's how I see it.
It's very, very cool. I mean, like I said, I think you do feel an emotional connection to these two. You don't want one to kill the other, and you do. And again, one of the masterful parts of how they tell this story and how they then stage it is you think at any moment one could kill the other. Now, of course, there's been a comic series that this was based around anyway.
Yeah,
so
Civil War.
Yeah, exactly that. And I actually, one of the unusual things, I'd actually got those comics. I've long since stopped collecting them, but Civil War I did actually get, all digitally, but I did get them. So I knew something of the story as well. So there was that too. But there was genuinely a fear of, what if one kills the other? Actually, maybe that'll be in What If Season 3. What would have happened if Tony had killed Steve Rogers, or vice versa?
Right.
So yeah, no, I think it's really good, really, really good. It never comes off as fake and cheesy and silly. You always thinking something could really go wrong here,
and that's why they did the whole roadie thing, to bring it to that. And even when that was happening, you're like, is this going to be like, when you saw it for the first time, you're like, is this legit? Is this what's going to happen? Is he going to survive? Is this what's? And it's like, and I think that's a running commentary throughout the rest of the movies, when every time you see Rhodey, he's got the hips, there's consequences to your actions. Right. And it's like, I thought you were, but you know what else I noticed in that? Who was he? So, Vision was battling, Scarlet Witch. Right. And they said that was the first time that they had that their relationship showed up. Because he said, I thought you were concentrating. And he goes, I didn't think you could lose concentration. And Vision goes, neither did I. Like, but he was distracted. He was, he wasn't, which is what happens. It's like, you're like, you have that relationship there, and you're like, oh, here we go. And that's like, how did he do that? He's supposed to be perfection. He's supposed to be everything that they're not. And he made a mistake. And how does that happen? So, yeah.
It's very, very good. As I say, Marvel on all cylinders in this one. There's very little to dislike about this. So yeah, that's great. Very cool choice to revisit, Deej.
Thank you. I mean, I'm a huge, Captain America fan. So,
well, that's all good.
Yeah, exactly. It is still funny. I saw, what was that? There's a movie out now with Chris Evans in it, and he's like, he's got no, even not that one. But it's on streaming or something like that. It's about the drug painkillers or something like that.
Okay, I haven't seen
Pain something or whatever. Pain pushers, I think it is, or whatever. I was walking through the room. My wife had it on, and he's there up on the podium, and he's talking in a thick, what I thought was a Boston accent, and swearing like crazy, which is not like Steve Rogers. Like
Deadpool Wolverine.
Like he did in Deadpool Wolverine, and like he did they did that on purpose. So, but yeah, it's It is pretty funny. So
Well, he is a Boston native, though, isn't he?
absolutely, yeah.
He's a Boston
Yeah.
boy. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So he's just using his native tongue.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was his name. I mean, it was really, really thick. I don't think he ever was like
Pushed
that.
it.
So
Yeah.
All right. You have 3 here. Do you want to do this one quick and we'll wrap
we'll do
up?
that quick. Yeah, I'll have to do
and
that
then
quick.
this one we'll wrap up with, right? After my next one. All right, thank you. Oui. All right. And then I have my next one after you do this one.
All right, let's do this. Yeah, I'll do this
All
quick.
right. Here we go.
Okay. This is From Beyond, the new 4K UHD release in DTS HD 5.1 master audio, up next to Neural X. Now, Deej, have you, and I know the answer to this, I think,
No kidding,
ever seen From Beyond?
I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
So I was going to say, before you could ask, I'd be like, I've never heard of this. I don't think.
Okay. No, you had to be there in the 80s for this one, Deej. This is a Fangoria classic. Okay. All right. And you did collect Fangoria, didn't you, during the 80s?
Yes.
So you might have seen it and then forgotten about it. But the reason I remember this is, and this is a B movie horror film with a capital Z. Because it's very big.
Yeah. Well, just keep going.
I'll be quick. So yeah.
Yeah,
so,
you don't have to be quick. There we go.
Shade.
Hey.
So talking about interesting movies. So From Beyond. So very, very B movie from the 80s. It's an H.P. Lovecraft story about a group of scientists that stimulate a particular gland that lets them kind of access kind of different dimensions. And one of the scientists then tries to basically take over the others. It's full of gore, full of blood and guts. As you can see, the price of that picture, it's got a bit of racy stuff in it as well, because it is the 80s, or it was the 80s.
And was everything in the 80s racy?
Well, it was when it came to horror movies like this. It was. You had to have a certain amount of TNA. I'm not going to say what they are, but you kind of had to for this sort of movie in the 80s.
Okay.
No one in the chat, fill that in, please.
Yeah.
But you needed a bit of that. And so this film kind of plays with the psychosexual side of it. It's a bit like Hellraiser, the same kind of thing. It's the difference between, pleasure and pain and all that kind of stuff. So I saw it in the 80s when I was way too young. The reason I remember this so clearly is it came out when my parents had the video shop. So when they had the video store, this was one of the movies that came along, and it was just like, it's so crazy. I thought, I've got to see this. And I remember it, and I hadn't seen it since. And so this is the 4K version. So I revisited it. It's very of its time, but for a child of the 80s, what I am, and being into horror movies in that decade, it is still well worth seeing. Absolutely bonkers. Doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's well worth seeing. The video is grainy, but it is sharp. It's 4K, so they've spent some time on it, but it is very, very grainy. And the audio is okay, but not brilliant. So yeah, it's worth picking up. If you happen to remember it like me, it's worth seeing again. But if you don't remember it, you've never seen it, don't rush out and get it.
I've never heard of it.
You'll only blame me like Shane's about to with Azrael.
I thought you were talking about Power Rangers.
Well, yeah, same thing. If you remember this movie and you haven't seen it for a while and you liked it, see it again. If you didn't, don't bother.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I've never even heard of it. When you sent that picture over, I was like, what the heck? Have you heard of this before, Shane? Before tonight?
I've never heard of it. No. I never heard of Azrael either, but I figured I'd watch it.
Good man.
It's all right.
So,
it's like a B-level movie.
What'd you think of Azrael?
It was okay. It was kind of a B movie, I guess, right? Yeah, B level.
Yeah.
It looked like I could have. I probably could have shot that myself, because I think they just shot it out in somebody's backyard in the woods somewhere. I was like, oh, this is like a really low budget. And then I like I did like the little special goat at the end. I was like, oh
yeah, that's kind of a metal ending. Yeah. Yeah, it's an unusual kind of way of doing it, though, isn't it? With no dialogue. Let's just have a kind of silent movie, essentially.
Yeah. The sound was okay. The sound was pretty good too. I'll give it that. Up mix it. I think it was like 5.1. It was decent. Yeah.
What did you watch it on, Shane? Was it disc or was it on streaming or?
It was on streaming. I think I had to VPN it or something like that. You know.
Okay, yeah, I think
really?
I saw something earlier in the week. I think Jordan might have put it up on Twitter or someone did. It's got a US release date on Blu-ray, so it's coming out over there.
Oh, really?
So I'm not sure when. It's not far away, so more people will get to kind of discover it that way. But very cool for you for seeing it. Fair play.
Still not on Kaleidoscape. I just checked.
No,
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
So
DJ, is it like 3 degrees out where you are, or what?
yes, exactly. I saw the news the other day, and they were like, "It's the coldest it's been." Or yesterday was the coldest it's been in 22 months, because last year was so mild up here.
Mm.
And it's like, we got 3. I don't know, what is it here? Today was like, yesterday was pretty cold, like 9.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, we get that. It's been, and like I said, when you have a mild year like last year, it really is shocking to the system. But I remember doing what I do. There was a year that it was like the first week of December was like 4 days of like 5 to like 10 degrees. And I told all my guys working for me, we all work outside, and I was like, you're going to have a great winter. And they're like, why? Because after this, 25, 30 degrees, you're just out in a sweatshirt. You're like, this is great. Like, nice and warm. Like, so you get used to it. And it's like, it stinks when it's so warm, and then it just drops down to this for a day, and you're like, this is horrible. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Shane, we have a request.
Yep.
It says, ask Shane from Vanguard what his favorite Christmas movie is.
There we go.
Oh, my favorite. Probably Elf. Oh, that's like everybody's.
Okay, yeah.
Probably Elf.
Hell.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Do you know what? I only saw that for the first time about 2 years ago. I just missed it. Yeah, it just kind of passed me by. I don't know why. It's not like I was avoiding it, honest.
But it's kind of unavoidable during Christmas.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was good, man. It was better than I didn't really understand kind of what it was, and then just kind of watched it. And I like Will Ferrell. I know Deej doesn't, but I kind of like Will Ferrell.
I like him. I just don't like him as a lead. He gets to be a bit much for me as a lead. He's fun as a supporting character, but
Step Brothers, classic.
Shane, don't mention Anchorman. Mention Anchorman.
Oh my God!
I think Anchorman's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It is for sure.
Yeah. Deej has a different view.
Yeah, much different. But yeah, the first time I saw Elf, I hated it. I don't know why. I don't know. It was at Christmas time. We saw it in the theater, and we didn't. My wife and I had dropped the kids off, and we're like, let's go to the movies. So we stopped on our way home from dropping the kids off at the movie theater, and we're like, oh, let's see Elf. And I was like, that was not good at all. It was like 10 years later, I tried it again just because it was on while we're putting a tree up or something. I'm like, damn, this is a good movie. Like, what was my problem? I was like, what happened? So, yeah.
Him drinking the 2 liter of Coke and then burping afterward always gets me.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Sugar.
Oh, man.
It's just like ingesting sugar like crazy. Yeah. Walking into I don't care what planet what part of the planet you're from. You grew up on the North Pole. You're raised as an elf, even though you're giant compared to them. Where do you just get to walk into the ladies' room and just start singing? You just walk in to the women's bathroom and like she's taking a shower. Like, oh, she's singing. I'm going in there. Like, is that what goes on at the North Pole? I'm like, come on.
Those nights get pretty long.
Yeah.
Oh man. So there we go. Yeah, fair play.
Yep. What are you guys talking about today? Christmas movies? Is that where you guys?
I've got my one more Christmas movie before my Die Hard Christmas special tomorrow that I do every year. Comes out on Christmas Eve that I record with my son and now my son-in-law. So that's coming up. But nice segue. Wow, professional, Shane, how you worked us right into that. So my next one, of course, Die Hard 2. Die Harder.
Hey.
The other Christmas classic, Shane. No? Do you disagree?
No, I love Die Hard. I love all the Die Hards. I love even the last one. I loved it.
Yeah. Ooh. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah.
This one.
The one in Russia.
Yeah, with the son. With his son.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Captain Boomerang.
Jai Courtney. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so I took in Die Hard 2. this week, and with the, this is I forgot to look. Shane, do you know, is this out in 4K anywhere other than Kaleidoscape
Disney
or streaming?
I don't think it's on 4K Blu-ray now.
No,
I think just one is.
Yeah, one is, because I had Brett Bjorkquist on the first year I met him. I met him in September. Then I had him on in December of that year. It was a few years ago, and I didn't have my Kaleidoscape yet. And he says on the show, I'm like, I had just talked about Die Hard 2, and I compared the Blu-ray at the time to the streaming 4K. And Brett was like, oh, Kaleidoscape has it in 4K. I was like, oh my God, you're killing me. I needed to get, I was like, he's trying to get me to get one. But back then I did a whole show just comparing the two. And I thought, like, audio wise, the Blu-ray was superior to the stream. And then the picture I thought was very close, the Blu-ray to the 4K stream.
Yeah.
But now, seeing this in 4K, I've seen it before, but watching it again this year in true 4K with the HDR, it's like, it just has a DTS master audio, which is fantastic, but it looks, all the like Christmas lights, the explosions, the lighting of the runway with the fire, and I mean the depth of all of that is just so much better, superior to stream or the Blu-ray.
I did recently watch the spin-off of Die Hard 2 on Netflix. Carry On.
What?
Yes, that's in my little list. Yeah, that's my list of ones to talk about at some point. Yeah, Carry On. Yeah.
What is that? I haven't heard of that.
The one with, have you not really?
Yeah.
Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton.
Yeah. I had no idea what it was about.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know Bateman was in it until they revealed him as the villain. I was like, oh wow! I was like, interesting twist.
Yeah, it's in my list. Steve. It's in there. Yeah. I thought you would have seen it.
No, you have it. Oh, you have it in here?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, I didn't know what that didn't resonate. Is it? That's not like really. You're just making fun of it. It's just like that type of story.
It's an airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Villain.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Tourist.
You mean but it's not actually part of the story.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm like, because I have no idea, but I'm like, is he serious or is he just saying
you let him off the hook too easily?
It's a mirror to it. I was like, I didn't know what you were saying.
Yeah, that's it, Steve. You got it. Steve Att says Netflix. Carry On.
Carry On, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a film. We need to talk about that when we've got more time. Shane, you need to come back on then if you've seen it, so we can discuss that.
I always forget about Die Hard 2. I always go to like Die Hard 1, then Die Hard 3.
Die Hard 3 is really good. Samuel Jackson, I love like how that story I thought was probably one of the more creative Die Hards, other than the original, but how they twisted that all around, and it was like, I thought that was a lot of fun.
But it wasn't a Die Hard film. That's the only one where they took another script, which was called Simon Says, and they just said we need a Die Hard movie, and they're like, well, I've got this script called Simon Says, and they're like, right, that'll do, and then they just called it Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then that's why the ending, obviously in the kind of truck stop, feels so tacked on, because it was. It was literally like, well, we just need to give this a McClane style ending, so they just brought that in. But yeah, that was written for a completely different movie.
Oh wow!
But it is good. It is good. But I still maintain, Deej, you and I have talked about this before. I still maintain that they don't explain the water conundrum. They do not explain it. They just say, they go backwards and forwards. How do I know I've only got 1 liter in here? And how do I know I've only got 2 in there? And then one of them goes, well, we've just got 2 in here. And they just fudge it. They don't.
Right. Kind of like they didn't show the math.
Yes.
Because you can't do it, but they didn't do it. They didn't actually do it on camera. So you're like, well, how did they figure it out? So you don't actually get the answer in the movie, but it actually can be done. So maybe that's what.
But they just cheat.
Oh, it can. Yeah, it can. There is a way to do it. But it's like, but maybe they did it that way on purpose so that you get more pub because people start talking about
it. Could be.
There you go. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Another holiday classic. I was trying to decide between this and Lethal Weapon for another Christmas movie this year, and I decided to go with this.
I haven't seen Lethal Weapon in forever. Like probably since it came out.
In the new year. So so the story goes. So it might be worth holding on for the 4K releases.
Isn't it? I thought it was out, no? Lethal Weapon?
No.
Not in 4K.
Not in 4K. No.
Not yet.
But as I say, Warner's apparently are doing Dirty Harry for next year and then Lethal Weapon as well. And they normally do them in a box set. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get those, because I'd love to see those again, and hopefully then the director's cuts as well.
I was just going to say,
are there any on DVD at the moment? The director's cuts.
I want one where it's actually with the school scene at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that one yet, Shane? The school scene. So the beginning of Lethal Weapon. It's him. It's the girl on the tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they open up, and she jumps.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then he has they do the Christmas tree shopping scene, right, to show him being crazy. There's a whole other version, an opening scene where to show how crazy he is. There's it's a school shooting, and there's a sniper looking down, and he's got these kids in a playground trapped, and they're all, and like anywhere that anybody moves, the sniper just starts shooting, and Riggs pulls up, and he's just like, "What's going on here?" And because of his mental state, he just walks right through, and just goes, and then and it's that Lethal Weapon. He just looks up with his pistol, and he takes out the sniper from the top, and it's like there was a whole other scene shot for this movie that I'm like, that's the one. I'm like, I want that in the movie. I want to see that again. See that in it.
I don't remember any of them, honestly. So when I see it again, it's going to be like the first time.
Oh man,
I think it's Jet Li in one of them. He's like in the last one.
4. Yeah, he's in 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was like his break. To me, it was like his breakout. That's when I learned who he was and how fast he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was already a massive star in Asia, but it was kind of the Lethal Weapon 4 is what introduced him to the US audiences. Yeah. But if you get a chance, Shane, and you can't wait, you can type into YouTube, you type in Lethal Weapon school scene, and you can see it there. But it's such a well done scene. And it really does show you who Riggs is, that he's off the chain, completely crazy, and a hell of a good shot. Yeah. It's a really, really good scene. Why they left it on the cutting room floor, I do not know. But it might have been too much.
It might have given too much information too early where they were going to drop that in. How do you put that scene in? You put that scene in the movie at the beginning, it tells you everything. You don't learn the rest of like how crazy he is and how like when he's got like that scene. Yeah, here we are talking Die Hard 2 and we're going on to, I should have watched Lethal Weapon, jeez. But it's like when he's like, when they're in the thing and they're like, yeah, I'm crazy. And he's got the gun to his chin and his eyes and they're showing you all that. It's like getting all that in 4K. Oh my God. I hope it's a good,
he has said he's going to direct Lethal Weapon 5.
Yeah, they're all getting on a bit now, though, aren't they? What is it going to be? Lethal Weapon 5, Old Folks Home? You know what I mean?
Well,
what are they going to do? We're all too old for this. You know what?
Yeah. Him and Donner talked about it for years, and then when Donner passed away, a year or so ago? A couple of years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, and I know they were talking about it then, and then shortly after he passed, they said, nope, we're still doing it. He still, Gibson still wants to do it.
Yeah. Apparently Donner had said, if I can't direct this, it should be you. And was talking to Mel Gibson. He's given interviews about it, but they're all getting on so much. I mean, if you want to feel old, in Lethal Weapon 1, when Murtaugh says, 3 days from retirement, I'm too old for this stuff. 45.
Exactly. At the time. And now it's like, whoa. Yeah. It's like, and that was in, what was Lethal Weapon?
87.
87 was Lethal Weapon? Wow.
God, I'm ancient.
Oh, stop.
That's how I'm feeling when I think of that.
There we go. All right. let's stop talking.
Pick Die Hard 2.
Yeah, you like that? Die Hard 2, everybody. Great.
Teach. How can we move on from Die Hard 2? You didn't mention the T-1000.
I know. Yeah, he was in. Yep, obviously. Yeah, he was
Robert Patrick. Yep.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. You see him marching down the hall, and then he's also. He's the one when the SWAT team or whatever is coming down, and they thump the SWAT team by stopping the moving floor, not the escalator, just a floor, and they're like, "Get that going!" Like they all just stood there. They start walking at him, and like he goes, "Who do you think we are?" And he's like, "Sitting ducks," and he shoots the guy in the forehead.
Speaking of Terminator, did you see the 4K Terminator?
Yes.
Has Arnold always showed his wang in that shot?
Yes.
Always. Even on the DVD? I don't recall ever seeing that.
Yeah, you probably weren't able to see it, but go ahead, Shane. Wait, you go check it out. Keep get your magnifying glass out. Oh yeah, it's always been there. It's always been there. And in T2, they've digitally removed, what's his name?
His sack.
The
Robert
T1000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Patrick.
They digitally removed that, but there is, I believe, on the laser disc, you can still, like when he's squatted down when he first shows up, it's like and he stands up. They've digitally removed it. But Arnold, no, it's always been there.
Yeah, wow, okay. Because I watched it first. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I really see that.
Yeah,
like, he's letting it all hang out.
Yeah, this is a great 4K version.
Yes. But I'll ask you the question, Shane. We've talked about it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks.
Why is cold that night? Yeah.
Why is it that when he's looking into the mirror after he's taken his eye out, he then, this ultimate badass killing machine, does his hair in the mirror? Why does he do his hair? He's literally just doing this, you know. It only occurred to me watching this version of it for reasons I don't know.
Yeah. I talked about the one thing I did see in this one in the 4K, because I talked about it. Steve had gotten the 4K disc before I did, and I asked, like, what is it like, you know, when in Terminator, when he cuts his eye with the X-Acto knife? And in the Blu-ray and everything before that, there was no blade in the knife. Like, he picks it up off of the sink, has a blade in it, but then the cut, and now you see it going to his eye, and when you look, the blade's gone. It's just the pencil part, right? In the 4K version, they've gone in and digitally put a blade into it.
Oh, really?
It's there. Because I went and watched it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's never been there. I had to throw the Blu-ray in. I'm like, yep, there it is. So, like, the Blu-ray version on Kaleidoscape has the pencil in it. Oh, wait a minute. I should check that now. It might not, because on Kaleidoscape, they updated the Blu-ray version, too. They updated the picture and the sound. So now the Blu-ray on Kaleidoscape has the Atmos track to it. They've added that. But obviously the 4K, but there was an update to the picture, and I should check that out. I wonder if they changed that, because that's how I did it when I compared it, because the Blu-ray hadn't been updated. My version hadn't been updated yet. I hadn't clicked yes. So, yeah.
When you bought the 4K, did the Blu-ray come with it, or did you pay for that separate?
I bought the Blu-ray just so I could see the 4K. I didn't look the Blu-ray itself, and then when it dropped on Kaleidoscape, a week or so ago?
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 2 weeks on like a Friday or something, wasn't it? Which I thought was weird.
I didn't even know it was coming out, so I was like surprised. I was like, "Oh, Terminator!"
Yeah, looks great.
Looks great. Really good. Sounds awesome as well. Really good. Yeah.
They need to go back and redo part 2 the same way they did this one.
Wonder if they'll spend the money. I hope. The problem is the rights, isn't it? Like MGM, Amazon own Terminator, so they can do all that. The T2 is wrapped up with Corelco and Studio Canal and all that stuff. So the rights in that are owned in all kinds of different places. So whether they'll spend the money, I hope they do, because it would be nice to get a version of T2 in the quality of T1. But I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But we got this next one that I've been dying to hear from Steve on. And now I can't wait to hear what you think too, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
I think we actually did talk. We might already have talked about this.
You talked about it,
Shane?
Evil Dead?
No, shut up. No. Oppenheimer, jackass.
Shane should be on every week, because he's always happy to talk Evil Dead right.
Oh God! I can't control the mutes on your microphones, guys. There we go. Let's see. Let's bring it up.
Hey, you picked it up. All right. That's what I'm talking about.
So Steve, let everybody know.
Yeah, so this then, for anyone that's listening to the audio-only version, is The Joker. Oh, sorry, no, it's not The Joker. Joker, Follow a Duck. And because Don might have gone by now, so I think I can get away with that. But if not, I better just say Folie à Deux is what we understand it is pronounced as, meaning the madness of two, which I think is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, so watched it for the first time this week. I didn't see it in theaters. I believed the bad reviews as much as I loved the first one in the right way, I think. And I was going to see the second one, saw the reviews, stayed away from it, thought, don't need to see it. Came out on 4K disc last week here. So this is 4K UHD disc and in Dolby Atmos. I was never less than intrigued by the film. I'm not sure I would use the word enjoyed it, because I don't think it's supposed to be enjoyed. But I was never, ever less than enthralled and intrigued. I like what they've done with this story. I like how they tell the story, and I like where it goes. It's actually way darker and way more sinister and I mean, coercive and controlling behavior much. You know, it's a really dark story, and I think if you approach this on a surface level of, well, it's just a movie about a comic book character and then there's singing, I can see how you might not like it. But I think if you approach this with open ears, open mind, open eyes, and you stay focused on it, there is an incredibly layered story here about control, about obsession, about the truth, and about mental health, and all this stuff, and it's all in the mix. And I thought it was fascinating. As I said, I don't think if I say I love it, I don't think that's kind of weird. But
it's hard to say that, right? Because it's so difficult.
Want you to love it, but it was never less than enjoyable in terms of the way it was telling the story. So I was riveted throughout this. I thought it was really good. And talk about, if you don't mind me saying, the balls on the director in this case to spend $200 million on what is a kind of a real art house niche take on this story. It's really, really, Josh Phillips, wasn't it? Really, really brave. So I really did find the film fascinating. I don't think I like it quite as much as the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. And bear in mind, I've seen the first one about 8, 9, 10 times. This is the first time seeing this, so this might, jump up next time. But it's very, very good indeed. So that was great. Now the video, I think, is exceptional. It's very, very good indeed. It has been manipulated. It's not meant to be razor sharp like every frame of the first one. But when this decides to show you 4K in all its glory, boy, does it show you 4K in all its glory. I mean, it's razor sharp when you need it to be. And then when it's playing with kind of fantasy and it's playing with stuff, it does soften up a bit, but that's very deliberate. I like the detail levels. I like the color saturation in it. Again, the black levels all are beautifully presented on the disc for the film and the look they're trying to give it. So having said, I really liked the movie, really liked how it looked, but how it sounds is a different thing altogether. The Atmos on this, I think, is fantastically good. And you get it, and they're clever because you get the little animated bit at the beginning, which is supposed to be the Looney Tunes stuff that we all grew up with. Yeah. Although again, that's very dark in terms of the story. Notice the shadow self that is mistreating the real version, and how you lock up the shadow version, but the shadow version, all of that's dark as anything. Anyway, so I'll go on through this forever. So, but you go from that kind of front focused sort of stuff to then the hallway scene, where it just comes alive and there are voices moving around the room. You can hear entire conversations going off in the back of the room. Just the imaging and the movement is just awesome. And it just carries on like that. And time again, you get this incredible audio and incredible imaging and movement, plus then the music. And I love that they've kept the central theme, that kind of scratchy violin theme that plays through this, which is ominous in and of itself. I thought it was great. And again, one of the discs of the year. I think it's going to creep into my list somewhere of my top 10 for how it looks, how it sounds, and how the movie is. And I think those that don't like it maybe have approached this on a surface level and not really thought about what's actually going on here. Right. I think if you do, it's a totally different movie. So quite liked it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, I mean, he's got a good character arc from the beginning to the end of this one, so it works as a whole for sure. But people just, this generation of people, they just let's listen to the critics first, and we'll just jump on the bandwagon. It's just everybody says it's bad, so it's bad. And unfortunately, I think it'll like I said before, I think it'll pick up over time and become a cult classic, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
So I think so. And the audio is awesome in this. The picture is awesome in it, and like the foreshadowing with the cartoon end of the movie. The real Joker gets him at the end.
Yeah.
I dig it. I really like this movie.
I thought getting to the audio, like you were saying, Steve, it's like the incorporation of the picture and the sound and the story. I thought the audio, when you have, because it's a variable aspect ratio with the music, and then I thought the audio got expansive too. Like it was like almost like deliberately during the non-musical sequences, I felt like the room was tighter, right? The Atmos in the room was a little bit tighter. And then when they opened up the room, it really opened up. It's like, I don't know if it was reverb or just like, or maybe it's just me and you're just into the movie and you're like, here we go. And it's like, but it gave you almost like in other movies, when you go inside of somebody's mind, if you're hearing an inner voice, it fills the room, but it has a reverb to it. Like you're in the, like basically empty head, like myself and a ping pong ball rattling around. So that's, it's like, there's an echo. So I felt like between everything they did in this movie, I thought like the entire thing, it was all incorporated into the story. And I've asked people like that didn't like it. I'm like, did you get to experience the variable aspect ratios? Did you get to see like what these different things meant? Because it would explain a little, because there were variable aspect ratios at times that didn't have music. So you knew it was an imagination shot. But if you're not watching it in variable aspect ratio, you might thought that was a reality shot because there was nothing else to distinguish it, right? And I thought that kind of can hurt the story to somebody that's not, because there's nothing at the bottom going, this is reality. This is not reality.
Well,
you know, and you're like, that doesn't even make sense. Well, yeah, that's because you're in his head right now. That's why it doesn't make sense. You know,
it's pretty subtle, the aspect ratio changes. Like honestly, I didn't even notice it the first couple of times I saw it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's actually changing. Like this is me like the third time. I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
So it is IMAX. I guess you could say shot for IMAX ratio.
Well, you can certainly see the IMAX shots, can't you? I mean, when you get the kind of the establishing shot over the actually, this is the other thing you might be able to help me with, these. Shane, I don't know how much of a comic man you are. What kind of slightly jarred with me was, it's in Gotham. They say Gotham. Why would it be the people of the state of New York versus Arthur Fleck? I couldn't get my head around that. I was kind of
right.
So is Gotham supposed to be in New York?
No.
I thought I thought Gotham was a sort of a euphemism for New York, basically.
No, that was usually one. John would be able to answer this better. But one of the things between like DC and Marvel was Marvel did take place in reality places. Like New York City was like the home to most of the characters, and then you had a few outliers, right? But DC was imaginary places. You know, you had Gotham, you had Metropolis, you had, you know, they're all exactly. It's all imaginary places that could be anywhere. But they just kind of just threw that in there. And especially what I thought was funny is anybody that wanted to film Gotham, especially since it was Chicago.
Well, that's what I was just kind of, and they say it a couple of times. They don't just let it. I thought initially it was a mistake. I thought someone just missed it, you know. But then they said it again, and it's like, so is Gotham kind of supposed to be close to New York? Do we now have a New York in DC? Kind of like, so that was a bit weird. I needed some explanation. But like I said, I mean, it's such a layered story, and I think if you approach this on a surface level, I could see why you wouldn't like it. You approach this with let's just see where this is going. There are rewards under the surface here, very subtle. So it was great. And in terms of, you talked about the music, Deej, as well. When Lady Gaga is singing, I was reminded of A Star Is Born, which again, I mean, obviously she's in that, so they talk about surface level, right? But the atmos when they're performing in A Star Is Born is fantastic. So you get the difference between when they're on stage and the camera's on stage with them to when they're in the audience and the movement of the sound in that. And I was reminded of that in this a couple of times, where it was almost that quality of again, the difference between what it sounds like when you're in the audience and what it sounds like when you're on stage and they're singing. And there's quite a subtle change there, which was also really good. So I thought this was way better than I thought it was going to be. So I'm very glad I've seen it. I'm also very glad I waited to see it in my theater room, where I could just engage with all this subtlety and kind of darkness and intrigue. Because I think in a theater, people munching popcorn, people talking, phones going off, people walking out You know,
single
people
aspect
going,
ratio.
Yeah,
I think most theaters played at just a 240 probably,
yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
yeah. So
could well be, but it was very, very good, and a must-buy disc if if you're into the movie. I suppose we should say to people maybe rent it first, maybe depending on your tolerance for layered storytelling, I suppose.
Yeah.
But if you think you'll like it, then definitely see it. I thought it was great. This will be in my top 10 for sure of movies of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
And experiences of the year as well. Very, very good indeed. And again, I think it's an advert for home cinema.
I wonder if they called it Joker instead of Joker Folie Deux, just called it Joker and then like Arthur. You know?
Joker.
Or just call it Arthur.
Just call
Joker
it
story.
Well, they already have Arthur, and that was with Dudley Moore back in the 80s.
Also in New York.
Yeah, exactly. Also in New York.
But so do you think that the because it is a bit pretentious, Folie à Deux is a bit pretentious, and again we had to get our resident French speaker to translate it for us. Dom Halford to say that it means madness of two. That's what it means, which is actually makes perfect sense. But I wonder if it is a little pretentious. So, like you say, Joker, the trial. Joker,
But I think that pretentious part is everything that it is, right? It's him. I mean, pretentious. The word pretentious itself is a perfect description because that's him pretending. It's being like he's all those scenes. It's like his imagination is he's pretending this is what people are thinking. He's pretending this is how it's going to work out. He's pretending this. So it's like Folie à Deux is like, all right, we're going to come off as this. Like what? Who do they think they are? Exactly. That's what the Joker's thinking. Who does he think he is?
Or maybe given the ending, it should have just been called Joker? ?
Yeah, I think that would have been too on the nose.
Well, I think if you would have just called it Arthur, because the first one he's Arthur, he becomes Joker at the end. This one he starts off as like Joker, then at the end he wants to get rid of Joker and become Arthur again and find love with Gaga. But,
yeah.
I think that would be quite good. They'd get confusing. People would be like, "So was it Joker or Arthur? What am I seeing?"
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
Yeah, it would be. It would. Yeah, I think Folie à Deux doesn't really do it any favors necessarily. But again, if you're telling a story in a particular way, then you're spending 200 million on it. You can choose your own title.
You name it whatever you want. Name it whatever you want.
Yes. Or what about? I mean, we've had The People versus Larry Flint. Why not have called it Joker, City of New York versus Arthur Fleck? And done it as if it was a case.
Well, is it also like Folie is probably because they turned it into a musical, or it was billed as that too? So they're trying to do that play on words, and they're trying to do the whole. It's like everybody just thinks Folie à Deux, and they like, So I mean, there's many reasons, but I mean, if you're not seeing the movie because of the title, are you a movie fan?
Yeah. Very, very good. Very good.
Really good.
Good movie.
Yep. So, all right, we're going to wrap up from here. But before that, like Shane, what have you seen recently that's knocked your socks off?
Well, knocked it off in a good way or a bad way? Because
I don't care. Either way is entertaining as hell.
Tomorrow.
What's that?
Gladiator 2 is coming out tomorrow on Cladescape. So.
That didn't do too well if it's out that early. I can't wait. I already pre-purchased it, so I'll have it tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I'm rearing up for that.
Have you seen it yet, Shane?
Did we watch? I watched Sonic 3 the other day, 2 days ago. I saw that. That was okay.
In the theater?
Yeah, in the theater.
All right.
Oh, you're talking about at home?
Or anything, anywhere, anything.
Let me go to my list here.
Sonic 3 was really good in the theater, though. You think it's going to be good at home?
I liked it better than the first two.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We don't get it here until next Friday. Sorry, this Friday coming. So I'm hoping to go and see that then.
Nice.
I'm seeing Nosferatu tomorrow night.
Oh, nice.
So Kraven the Hunter.
How was that? What did you think?
Out of all the Sony, minus the cartoons, the Sony Spider-Verse cartoons.
Yeah.
I know this was the lowest performing non-Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie. I thought it was the best one.
Really?
Because I feel like Venom shouldn't be a jokey character. Like Venom just doesn't hit for me.
Good call. Yeah.
Madam Web sucked. Morbius sucked. So I put Kraven. Kraven would be the one.
See, I liked Morbius because I liked the home theater part of it.
Mhm.
The echo stuff that they did, all of those scenes, I thought was fantastic in the room.
Okay, well, I would say Craven, Morbius, then the Venom movies, and then Madam Web. That'd be my list.
That's your order?
Yeah.
Wow. And Craven's one of my, look at, I still have it here. I spilled a little something on the case, but that's one of my comics that I have right here, Craven the Hunter. That's from the 70s, 80s, I can't remember.
I mean, it was a serious movie too. Like, it was, they
really
try to keep it. I mean, he's putting bear traps on people's faces and they're showing it. So I mean,
what was it rated? PG-13?
Yeah,
it's an R. It's R-rated. It's R-rated.
Oh, is it R-rated? Oh, you're right. Yeah, it is R-rated.
There we go.
Yeah, you get to see all the various injury detail and everything else.
Pretty gruesome. Steve would like it.
Fools.
Yeah, Steve would dig it. All the violence, you dig it.
I don't know.
I winced a few times. I was like, "Oh,
yeah." I mean, I'll wait. I've not seen any of these movies in the theater. I didn't see Morbius, Madam Web, any of the Venom movies in theaters. I was happy to wait because I got what I was expecting really. And Craven's like that. And I've seen the opening 8 minutes that they put up online, and it's like, okay. But look, I bought Madam Web, so I can buy that. I can buy Craven.
Web?
Gosh. Yeah, well, hadn't
I
seen
have it. Yeah.
So I bought it first. I had it, in fairness, my brother was in Canada and he bought it for me while he was there. So I got it cheaply. But it was, so I didn't think much of it. I mean, it's a weird movie. But this one, I will see it. I'll buy it because I've got the others. And it's a Sony movie, a Sony disc, as we say. They always look great. They always sound great. So I'm sure it's going to have some decent kind of home theater appeal, if nothing else. And as you say, violence, always good. So I will give it a go, but Nosferatu. Now that, I mean, Deej, director of Northman, Robert Eggers. I am champing at the bit to see that. Unfortunately, it's out Christmas Day there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not out here until I think next week, or maybe the week. It might even be the week after. But I am going to see that. I cannot wait for that film. John Thompson, I think, has seen it. Loved it. So I mean, I can't wait. That's a movie that is just kind of wallow in that film, because Robert Eggers, if nothing else, I mean, we love his work, don't we, Deej? Certainly The Northman, anyway. And so a movie, a vampire, creepy, gothic horror movie in that style, that visual style, should be incredible. Where are you seeing it, Shane? Are you seeing it in like Dolby Cinema or IMAX or anything like that?
Yeah, we got I've not seen it in IMAX. I think it's a Dolby. Yeah, Nosferatu with the auditorium. I am seeing it in. Yeah, it's Dolby. Yes, Dolby.
Oh, wow. That should be an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you're free next week, come on and tell us what you thought of it, because I really do need to know. Do you review cinema things that you've seen, or is it only HT stuff that you review on YouTube, Shane?
If I know it's going to be big, I know I'll get views, then I'll do it. Like Avatar.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll watch the video then. And then when I've seen it,
I honestly don't think anybody would watch this review on Nosferatu.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually looking forward to the hashtag Dork Boys. Keith and Avia doing Craven tonight. They're doing their review on YouTube tonight, and they record their podcast tonight. And it's like they were not looking forward to it. They were going to do it last week, and they didn't want to go to the movies to see it because they figured, like Shane, like, who really cares if we even talk about this? Because nobody's going to want to listen, right? And now, but I know they're doing it tonight. They record. I think they're going to be on YouTube at like 8 or 9 o'clock. I forget. Normally, I would be the night before. We record on Tuesdays, but we just happen to be because of the holiday. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they think about it and if they tear it. Because now I'm really excited for it. I don't know if I should run to the theater and see it this week, or if I mean, it's probably going to be a Kaleidoscape by next week. It's doing so poorly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm sure it will be. No doubt.
Yeah. Well, having said that, though, hashtag Dork did say that Joker 2 was the worst film of the year.
They hated
one
it.
of them.
Yeah, they hated it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What channel is this?
Hashtag Dork. They're on YouTube, Dork Podcast, Rich Keefe and Ryan Davey. The whole Movember thing was for Ryan Davey for his Movember cause. That's what we were doing it for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's their podcast, but they're on YouTube. Just Google hashtag Dork, and they'll be on. You'll find their stuff. Oh, they hated it. They would have to be Joker too.
Horizon? Had they even seen Horizon?
Oh, they see a lot of movies. They see more movies than I do. They'll see everything in it, like a ton of stuff. And but it's like, but they get into all of it. What's that?
Madam Web was this year.
Yeah,
so
they hated that one.
Down
they
there
didn't
somewhere.
like that one. Yeah, it's yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I like. Sometimes they agree with, like I agree with them. Sometimes, like on this stuff, nope, not even close. Like Oppenheimer, Shane. I mean, everybody universally.
Well, I mean, that was all right. It wasn't like the worst.
What? Yeah. Wow, that's the highest praise he's ever given it on this show.
Talking of Oppenheimer, Deej, bearing in mind how much the only other person other than you that loves it as much as you do is John. Again, John Thompson.
Yeah.
Did you saw this week, didn't you? He was chatting to Florence Pugh.
Yes.
Yes. And he had his Barbenheimer T-shirt on.
Yep. And I've already gotten his address. Some swag is on the way. Sorry.
Good man. I was going to do it. I was going to do it because I wasn't sure if you'd see it. So I was going to buy it and send it to him because I wasn't sure you'd see it. So that we can, because I mean, he meets everyone. He was with James Mangold earlier in the week as well, and he sent he texted me a picture of him in his arm around James Mangold. So a few pictures with the Bright Side Home Theater T-shirt. Who knows?
Good stuff. There we go. But,
it was good. Honora. Did you see that yet? That was great. That was a really good movie.
I haven't seen them.
No. What's what is that on?
That's it's on Kaleidoscape now.
Yeah, it just dropped, didn't it?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't watch that with your wife. At least the first few minutes of it. It's about a stripper.
Yeah. Is it? Well, yeah. I read the synopsis for it. It sounded a little bit Pretty Womanish. No.
Yeah, it's like a dark comedy Pretty Woman. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Polo match went bad.
Snails took someone's eye out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. Wicked was good. I saw Wicked a couple times.
I saw that. Good. Saw that in the theater. It was really good. Yep. That I think is going to be good at home.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably within the next 30 days or so, I would be on Kaleidoscape.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. Yeah, that one's going to be good at home. Long. Very, very long movie. I felt like it was. Wicked.
You know what? I think I did kind of doze off probably midway through. So.
Yeah, I dozed off a couple times.
Yeah.
Still got it. But it is good. So there's another raving review of Wicked. I dozed off.
I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris, we're talking about Christmas. Red One was a good movie.
Really?
I liked Red One.
Oh wow,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Steve, did you see it? Or you like?
Yeah, I've seen it. No, I have. No, I saw it. But
okay.
Full disclosure, I did not see it in the cinema room. I watched it in the front room on a 46-inch TV in stereo. Yeah. No, it wasn't a screen. No. It was on. It's on Prime over here.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime. It is there as well, I think.
Yeah.
And so it was way better than I kind of thought it was going to be. Because again, the reviews have been scathing. The box office was dreadful.
It plays exactly how the trailers is. I mean, big CGI.
Yeah.
However, it was way more serious than I thought it was going to be. Like it was like a serious action movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were good. They were good together. Those two, Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans, are very good kind of mismatch buddy cop type guys. They were good. It was more fun than I thought. But I'm not sure I'd see it again. But I'm glad I've seen it. And I guess who the guy was playing the anti-clause, as it were, is the guy from Game of Thrones, and I'd guess that straight away. So I'm thinking it's got to be him, the ginger guy from Game of Thrones, who's the wildling from North of the Wall. Yep. He's playing the sort of anti-clause. But no, it was good. It's not bad. Certainly way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. A great Atmos. I mean, too bad you should have watched it.
I just don't think I could. I enjoyed it while I watched it, but then afterwards thinking, I'm not sure I need to see that
I'm looking forward to that one in the theater. Yeah, it should be
on Prime.
Yeah. I just checked. I thought if you already have it digitally there, I'm surprised it's not on Kaleidoscape already.
I think it's an Amazon movie, so I think they're keeping it for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon own it, don't they? It's an Amazon film. They're not going to give up the goods that too early.
Yeah, not yet. I tried to get the info from Kaleidoscape Luke. He goes, he said he didn't have any ETA for it either for them. So.
Oh, really? For either of those?
No.
Yeah.
Oh. And then last one, No Country for Old Men on 4K. Great looking movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I mean, I've seen the movie, obviously, but I've not seen the 4K disc. Yeah, looking forward to that. It's a Criterion, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Great. That's a good one. Haven't seen that in a long time. Yeah. I totally forgot Brolin got killed in the end.
Oh,
spoiler.
Now we all know.
It's been out for like...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. What year was that one?
Oh,
2017, or sorry, 2007.
Oh, so, yeah, I was going to say early 2000s, definitely.
Yeah. It's a really good film. I will pick that one up. We're not going to get that here. I'll have to import it. But I love that film. I mean, that is old Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh is a force of nature in that movie.
Yeah, the haircut is great.
He apparently, I read somewhere the other day, he was interviewed and they were, it was a Brolin interview, actually. I think it might have been on Rogan. Sorry. Anyway, I saw bits of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. And I think he was saying that Javier Bardem just hated filming it. He hated having the hair because it's real hair. It's not a wig.
Yeah.
And he just was just like ostracized by the cast. He spent all his time on his own and was just absolutely hating every minute of it, but just didn't realize what it was they were producing. I mean, there are scenes in that are cinema history. The Texas gas station scene.
Friendo.
Friendo. Oh, I'd never heard that before. Yeah, and just such a good scene. But there are a number of them. And so that film's a bona fide cinematic classic. So that'll be great to get that. Nice. And it's a good disc then, is it, Shane, or have you seen the Kaleidoscope version?
Very good.
That's not on Kaleidoscope yet.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Not in 4K. No.
I will import that immediately. If you will watch Azrael, at the very least I could do is watch The Awesomeness of No Country for Old Men.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go. All right. Let's wrap up. We ran late, but thanks, Shane. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah,
thanks for popping on. I forget even what you said. You know, wise ass, but nice.
And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you watching.
No, that's what it was. Azrael. That's what it was. Azrael. That's what. Yeah. Like Azrael's a good movie. So thanks for popping in. That's awesome. So happy holidays to you and everybody. Really appreciate it. John, who isn't here right now, but hopefully he had a good time at the movies with his son. What was he seeing? The first Lord of the Rings? The new one.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Going to see that. So, all right. So he's doing his homework for next week. So, but all right. Thanks everybody. Happy holidays. Have a great, safe Christmas. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Steve. We'll be back next week. Tomorrow, Die Hard dropping. The video drops on YouTube. Podcasts will be out as well. The Die Hard Christmas special, the annual special I do with my son and now my son-in-law. So check that out. And we tell you unequivocally it is a Christmas movie. We explain why. Every year we break it down. So.
Got snow.
Here we go. Here we go. What was that, Shane? It's not a Christmas movie?
Hey, if Bruce Willis says it's not a Christmas movie.
Well, he is kind of lost his mind a little bit, sadly. So let's not go there. All right.
That went dark quick.
What'd you say? That went south quick.
That went dark. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it did. Gloves are coming off now. All right. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, you know what you got to do.
Go push play. What he said.
That is right.
Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.